Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
Hey, good Monday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage and your clear choice for Edmonton sports, Edmonton Sports Talk. Thank you to everyone for listening live on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, on TuneIn, on iHeartRadio, watching on YouTube, or listening to this on podcast, wherever your podcast. EST, we are presented by Play Alberta. It is an Oiler game day, so Tommy is down at the rink.
It's also a Knicks game day.
It is a Knicks game day.
It's also a Celtics game day.
Matty Iwanyk with you here today, alongside Murray McCourt from the VIP Golf Show, as well as the Ranch Golf and Country Club, and Josh Classen.
I believe in these guys.
Rapper turned weatherman. You want to fix that song?
I do want to fix it, but the fact it's horrible almost makes it better.
Just adds to it, because you don't like the beats. We're Dusty put the beats.
It's way too slow for where the music is.
Oh, so he needs to change the speed of the song to you, or match it?
It's fine. It's fine. It's not that.
What's
Yeah, it
wrong with
doesn't
this?
kind of. Well, he's saying he jumped onto the post-game show after
They won every single game except that was the first loss after that song.
Was that
Saturday
game 4?
night. Game 3.
So
Was
it's
that game
all
3?
you. You were the guy.
Game 3.
You were the.
No, they had already won. Had I sung it after game 2,
No,
then
but
it would have been.
But no.
Amazing.
You wanted to sing before that game was finished.
I did because I thought they were coming back to win.
Yes. So I'm gonna like you were texting me like I want if they win this I want on the post game show because I want to sing something.
Yeah.
And I started getting the wheels of motion before that game was over, and that was that was game 3.
It was the game with
So that
the
was before the
bad call
challenges
with
and
the
all
challenge.
of that. Yes.
It was before the
and it was
challenge.
before the challenges that you texted me on that. So the wheels were in motion. While you didn't sing it till after. The wheels of motion.
I was
your
singing
idea
it in my living room.
Yeah.
While the game was on, driving my wife nuts.
And they rattled off 6 straight victories.
I know. Yeah.
So it wasn't
I'm taking
Pickard.
no credit.
It was
for
all
it.
you.
No, I take no credit for it. No credit. But it is it's so catchy. It's in my head at least once a day.
Is
I
it?
believe
Is
in
it because
these
the boys are playing it so much in the morning show?
guys. No, because it's just because in my head it sounds better than the version they play on the morning show. But that's okay.
We've only heard one line now.
I
Twice.
believe in McDavid and Dry. Hyman, Nuge, Bush, Perry, and Kane. Gonna bring the cup back again. Oh no, gonna make a deep run again. I believe they can soar and bring the cup back to the north. I believe in these guys. Sing it with me, Murray.
No.
I believe in these guys. I believe in these guys. You know what song that is, right?
I believe I can fly.
Yeah. Which is why my wife hates it so much. She's like,
Really?
You could have done anything other than an R. Kelly song, and you picked an R. Kelly song? I'm like, it's fine. I think we're past it.
But I thought you were a rapper.
not a
There was
Diddy
no
song.
rapping in that.
That's what I thought it was going to be
no,
too.
yeah. No. Multi-talented. I'm trying to hold up for Tommy not being here with the short shorts. Show a little leg.
Well,
You picked the
got
right
a
seat
hat
for that
on,
one.
though, and you're not showing off the beautiful hair that Tommy's got.
No, I don't have hair like Tommy.
Who does?
Trying to grow it out, but no. it's not working.
Cass has some good hair. Matt Cassian.
He does right now?
Oh,
Haven't seen him for a
throughout the
while.
year, like you throw on that post game show. Sometimes, like Cass's hair might be better than Tommy's tonight.
Whoa.
Your hair's looking good too.
What would Tommy
Did you
say
blow
about
that dry that today?
It always gets blow dry.
Oh, look
a
at
little bit.
yeah.
Can't
That is
air
good. That's
dry
a
that
good
stuff.
flow. Your hair doesn't get enough respect
Oh, thank you.
because you're next to Tommy, I think, all the time. But that's
no,
good
that's
hair
fair.
game. That's good hair game.
I got a haircut on Wednesday. Every 4 weeks. It's regular rotation.
Yep.
I would love
Don't
to know
mess
the,
around.
the time difference that you spend doing your hair every day compared to Tommy, though, because I'm going to guess it's a significant difference.
Mine takes probably 3 to 5 minutes. And 5 minutes would be really long.
Really?
Tommy would, half an hour is my guess.
You think that's long? It's short?
That's short. That's ridiculously short.
It doesn't need it much.
With a hair, with a blow dryer. Oh, listen, it doesn't
just
take me that long.
Yeah.
The blow drying is to get it into the right spot,
Right.
and then like it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's just the front part that I need to deal with.
Seems to me like
It's
if I
very
was
quick.
if I was to pull out a blow dryer, it would take more than 3 to 5 minutes.
No,
You have short hair. How would it take 3 to 5 minutes to blow dry your hair?
Like I said, I'm kind of trying to grow it out a little bit. It's a little bit longer.
that does look good. You always do have good hair.
No.
I think you do.
I wish I could go bald, so I just wouldn't have to deal with hair.
Well, you can
Really?
make that
I
happen.
would love to just go bald.
I'm trying to imagine you bald right now.
My entire life until I started working in TV, I was bald.
Really?
Yes.
Like full shave, like you bicked that, or
No, but like
very, very fine.
shaved, and then you'd do like 3 lines for the 3 lines of Adidas in there, or you do like a little curly shaved right in there.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Murray,
And
you do
then I had
anything
to
crazy
grow
with your hair?
Well, I'm growing it out a little bit on the top right now because it's going back a little bit right up here. So I'm trying to cover that up with a little. But that's because
Just let it go.
Just let it go. Well, I'm not gonna go bald. I got a lot of hair on my head.
Yeah.
But when it goes up like that, it's like, oh, I don't know. Maybe I should just admit that I'm aging. I have a birthday again this week. They should actually just stop happening when you get to be my age, so you don't have to
You're
add
not
another
that
year on it.
old, Murray.
How old do you think I am?
I would guess that you are probably 5 years older than me, so this is your 55th.
Wow.
Did he nail it?
You freaking nailed it, man.
Yeah. See?
That's impressive.
Yeah.
But I don't like you right now because most people guess me in my 40s. But
Most people guess you in your 40s.
yeah,
How dare you, Josh? Not guess it.
so I
you
mean,
got it right.
that was
But why didn't you
brilliant.
go
That was
under?
Brilliant. But for some reason, you think you know
No,
me
but
well
I
enough.
know
You made a
that-
mistake there.
I know that I'm 50,
Yeah.
and so you're not younger than me.
Well, I tell you what though, there's a lot of people that are in their 50s,
Right.
that you and I make look like pretty rough.
That's
say.
true.
'Cause,
That is true.
Yeah, because like a lot of people guess me in my 40s because I don't think I look. Like, there's a lot of people in their 50s, and I'm just like, ooh. When I find
Sure.
out they're the same age as me, I'm like, I think I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I would have, I knew you celebrated 50 not that long ago. So I was thinking like 51, 52 in my head, but I knew that part.
yeah,
If it wasn't for that, I probably would have said like 47, 48.
yeah. I get a lot of that.
You suck up.
Yeah, well,
I-
he's a brilliant man.
That's what I would have guessed too.
Yeah.
You should have just, you played that for nailing that, for wanting to be right, you nailed it, which is a very me thing to
That's
generally
not-
do.
Absolutely.
That's a very me thing to try to go do there.
I'm always just trying to be right.
You could have
I'm
just
not
went
always
with,
right, but I'm just trying.
Yeah.
okay, I think it's 55, but you want to, on air, I'm going to say 49.
Well, I have a 7-year-old kid though, right? So a lot of people, if they know that piece, it's like, wow, 7-year-old kid, geez, you got to be like 42 or something. I don't know.
Age is just a number.
Yeah, absolutely. Although
It's all just a number.
It's still, 'cause,
Except in sports. Sports, it means something.
well, with some guys it doesn't. Tom Brady, it didn't.
Yeah, there's very few.
Corey
but
Perry.
Corey Perry.
Perry, yeah.
I was joking when he scored his second goal on Saturday night with Belsey. We were sitting at the game, and I was just like, yeah, Conn Smythe. You know, like, are we looking at a Conn Smythe for Corey Perry right now?
Jeez, I think Mikko Rantanen went from being not a consideration for it to being the headliner of it in 3 games.
He was the favorite. He wasn't the favorite on Thursday from Play Alberta. Friday, he became the favorite. I'm assuming he's going to stay the favorite as I look it up right now.
I'm going to check the box score yesterday real quick. I didn't even see.
He does remain the
what-
favorite. Connor second. Leon drops to 4. He was 3. He drops to 4.
Should be further.
Should it be? Actually,
If they lose this series, is that Steve Smith 2.0?
no. I will
not that
defend. Okay, we'll go to that. We're going to go to that point of the show here. This is the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada storage experts. More than 2 decades helping Canadians through life transitions. Canadian storage provider by Canadian. Right now, 50% off 12 weeks on all units, or you can get 75% off 8 weeks on 10 by 10 units, or 4 weeks free on selected units. Actually, before I do that, I need to shout out Savage the Plumber in the Nasty Chat, watching Walking the Streets of London. Go Oilers. Also, congratulations to Savage and Renee.
Yeah, I heard that
who
this
got
morning on the morning
engaged
show.
This past weekend out in London.
Congratulations.
So congratulations to Savage and Renee out there from all of us here at Edmonton Sports Talk. Round of clicks for them on that
Except
one.
I'm terrible at clicks. But
That's
I
fine.
can pretend.
Yeah, you were actually you
Well,
did the
a little
motion.
bit. I
You
gotta
did
get
the
I gotta
motion.
get
Okay,
close.
I don't really love the round of clicks.
why not?
I'm kind of half-heartedly.
Yeah, okay.
What's wrong with the round of clicks?
It's my least favorite part of this show.
Well, but just curious why.
I just don't like it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll ask you after. Maybe there's some deeper meaning to this.
No, there's no deeper meaning to it. I just,
Glue Guy brought it in.
I know.
It's a better way. What, we're gonna clap here right now?
No. I
It's
don't
just this little something.
Yeah.
Okay, round of clicks for Josh Classen, everyone. Round of clicks for Josh Classen. Okay, on that goal, if I had to put order of blame, the Leon tipping it in probably is the lowest. for
Sure.
me. It is at the bottom of my blame because you see your net empty, you see the puck going towards the net. Your instinct is to try to knock that away.
Is it not to maybe move it this way though? Not
I think I'd have to go back and see the overhead. I do think he was trying to see, like, he was just trying anything. And net
swat it
empties,
away.
and he doesn't know that that's going wide.
No. Yeah.
It's he sees empty net, he sees puck near empty net, he swats. I have very little blame on Leon on that part of the play. I will
previous to
say that.
Previous to that, yeah.
I did like, though, the jokes that I saw, which is like Leon back-to-back game-winning goals, or Leon has now scored on all 32 teams in the National Hockey League. I thought those were good comments. But that part, the least amounts of blame, that one play by Leon Draisaitl. But then there's a lot of blame to go around on a lot of different people on that goal.
Oof, absolutely. I was at the game, and I think I was kind of like 11 of the players on the ice at that time,
Just lulled into like,
just thinking,
all right,
it's
6
over
seconds left.
because I wasn't 100% focused on the play, and Vegas went on the change, and I'm like, it's going overtime. They're not even going to try for this last little rush, except for the guy that had the puck, but then all hell broke loose. They scored the goal, and I'm like, what happened? Like, the only replay they showed in the building was the puck coming across and Leon knocking it in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like texting people, what just happened? What led up to this? And anyways, sure. The next day I watched the play now 50 times trying to piece together all of everything that went wrong in that. But Vegas went on that change, so the Oiler guys just quit playing too because they just said it's going overtime, right?
Yeah, and I was a weird spot because while I was there, I completely I wasn't paying attention to the clock. So when I saw Riley Smith go around Skinner, I was like, oh my God, he's going to finish this. And then I saw the green light. I'm like, oh, did he score? Like, I didn't realize. I thought there was more time on the clock. So I was in a much different spot. I got sucked into the play that the clock just didn't mean anything. I thought there was a lot more time left.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh, did the Oilers get saved by the clock here? And then we got the replay on Sportsnet in the press box a little sooner. We're like, oh no, that's a goal.
Yeah.
This isn't good.
No,
This isn't. This is a rough one. I will. Back to the blame here. Skinner just above Leon for me, but there's a bit of space.
Skinner on that.
There's a bit of space there to me. I do. I think he overcommitted.
Yeah, if he stayed on the post, he would have flicked the puck at him and would have hit into him and whatever. But I mean, that's hindsight too. He made the play. He chose to do what he did.
Mm-hmm.
He got himself big in front of him. Forced him to shoot it wide.
But at the same time, he still allowed the goal player Smith to get past him and put the puck in a scary area.
Sure.
Which is just like when Connor scored earlier, the game time goal, put it through the crease, hit McNabb. Bad things happen when the puck's near that net. I don't want him completely in the net. Because I do think his explanation after the game was solid.
Explanation after the game was perfect.
Yes. I love that he actually explained it, which is something you don't get that a lot with players. He explained what was going through his head, why he went that. And I agree with the majority of what he said. I don't think he should have come out as far as he did. Now, again, hindsight 2020, it's a lot easier to say that and not be in that position.
Sure.
If he comes out,
if he's deep in his own net and
there's an open spot, he might let in a goal.
Right.
If he comes out, if he attacks halfway or something, takes away the net, tries to force Smith to go wide to run the clock out. I don't think there's space for him,
which I
with
think
Smith
is what
to
he
get
was
it across.
trying.
Yes,
What he was trying
I just
to do.
think he overcommitted on that play, and it seems, unfortunately for him and where he is with his Oilers career right now, it seems like those things happen to him a little bit more, and then they get amplified.
Here's another.
If they run him out of town,
Well, I think he should just get out of town. This is a toxic environment for him.
he's going to go somewhere else, and
be great.
In 2 or 3 years, people are going to be like, "Why didn't we keep Skinner?"
Which they've said for how many other players that have been run out of this
Goals, yes,
I don't know if I agree with that.
really.
Yeah. I don't. That was the first game where I thought, I don't think Stinner's with the Oilers next year.
Wow.
That was probably the first time I ever actually went, I don't know how you bring him back type thing. I just wonder if the confidence can get back to where it needs to be for him. Again, it's just it's he's such
But when you hear him,
such a
but when you
polarizing
hear him
goalie.
talk,
Yeah.
I don't feel like he's the kind of guy that gets overly confident,
No.
or loses his
He
confidence.
doesn't seem like a guy that gets
It's
overconfident.
very zen. And so I don't know that he's lost his confidence.
I think he's a guy that when things aren't going well, tries a little too hard to try to correct things. And that just makes more mistakes, which leads to more goals.
So you'd
which
rather
and
him
then it
not try to
compounds.
correct things.
I think he just needs to simplify things and just stick with his game, but I think then he overthinks it. And because it's when things go bad for him, it's a stretch of bad for him, and it's hard for him to get out of it. And it's such a weird game Saturday with him, because like the Oilers have confidence. They're playing well. They should be going after 20 minutes 2-0.
Yes.
He lets in that first goal was not good. Like he bobbles it, and then it's
Yes.
set there. It's back of the net. Gives the momentum to Vegas, who score 56 seconds later, whatever it was. It's now a 2-2 hockey game, brand new for the final 2 frames. But then he played great through the second and the third period.
He made a lot of good saves.
He made a lot of good saves. He made some great saves in that one. Like he made some saves, like me, Bells, and Reed were like, if that was Pickard, it'd be the credit for them. Skinner doesn't get that all the time. Mm-hmm. He made some excellent saves that kept the Oilers in it for the rest of that game, basically, until those final 10 seconds. It was there. And he deserves some accolades for how well he actually played in that game. But with Stuart Skinner, okay, now that mistake happens, that leads to the loss.
Well,
But then you play well. He played well tonight. He steals a game for them tonight, and the whole narrative completely changes.
Does it?
And
Does
they
it?
go
Nothing.
on, or they go
He's
on
0-3
They go
in the
on
playoffs.
They
That's
go
the
on a
tough
deep
part.
run, and
Well, he went on a
they
deep
win
run
the
with him
cup
last year,
with
and everyone still hates him.
And
Because the flip side, what if they lose tonight? Like I know Dusty did the whole positivity thing.
Yeah.
But I'm okay. What's the narrative if they lose tonight? He's
It's
0-4, right? Like, and that's the fear I have with Skinner, is that he goes out there and maybe just that one little thing sticks with him, and he needs to find a way to get that, throw that away. But it doesn't seem like he can.
I personally don't feel like those first 2 losses against the Kings were all on him. And so if I'm confident in myself and I don't believe that I'm the one responsible, then yes, okay. So I'm 0-3 in the playoffs, but I haven't played horribly.
Yeah, like in that last game, I think he was okay. I mean, he could have played better, and he made some great saves. So he could have been.
I don't know.
But I don't know.
I like Skinner.
And
I look at the other goalies that are around the league. There's not very many other goalies that I'd rather have.
we're in a new age of hockey where it's not the stud goalies that go on and lead their teams to cups all the time. I got it. Vasilevsky did lead his team to cups, but Carey Price never won a cup.
No.
Henrik Lundqvist never won a cup. There's a lot of great. Roberto Luongo never won a cup. Like in the new age, there's a lot more goalies that have gone and are brilliant that we sit there and say are top tier goalies, and they're not going to go win the cups.
Find a Marty Brodeur and then win, or a Dominic Hasek and win.
That's not the day and age that we're in. Like, where did Binnington come from? But at the same time, there's also been question marks of Binnington over the last few years of whether this guy
100%.
could ever get the Blues back to it, or should he leave
Right.
Canada or anything like that.
And
That
so
is
then-
Connor
so-
Hellebuck. There's
so then
those
they
question
get
marks,
rid,
right?
They get rid of Binnington, or had they gotten rid of Binnington, they'd be kicking themselves right
Yeah.
now.
So
If you had gotten rid of him 2 years ago.
So you need to
And
find that
that's-
hot goalie.
Yeah.
And they have that right now with Calvin Pickard.
Right.
They got that last year to a degree with Skinner. The reason I say to a degree is he did need to get pulled for a period. But after that, to me, he was a hot goalie the rest of the way.
Right.
But it's just I don't know. It's voodoo, NHL goaltending.
No one with a straight face can look at you and say that Calvin Pickard is a better goalie than Stuart Skinner. I mean, yes, he's playing well right now, but if you look at it in a full scale of who they are as goaltenders, Stuart Skinner is a better goalie than Calvin Pickard. Period. I mean, it's not even a debate. You're gonna,
Maddie wants
Well,
to
no,
debate.
I'm just trying to like to
you
define.
can't.
I'm just trying to in my head define what is better goalie as of right now. If I'm going to say who gives the Oilers a better chance to win right now in the playoffs for the rest of this season,
Based on the way the team plays in front of them.
based on everything, Calvin Pickard. Calvin Pickard, I will say, like, I'll say this, like, it was Saturday, I say Stuart Skinner made those saves that Calvin Pickard
Right.
would get credit for. Skinner was making those, but Skinner in those first two games didn't make those. That's why he got pulled.
Yeah,
He didn't make those saves when he needed to make that save. And Calvin Pickard has come in and he's letting goals. You brought it up last week, his save percentage. He's letting in goals, but he makes the save in the crucial moments. It's that quarterback in football, and this is why, like,
Is that why the team plays better in front of them?
maybe. I think maybe because when things, I don't want to, for lack of a better term right now, when the group's a little more fragile, the mistake happens or the puck comes the other way, Skinner's letting in a goal. That doesn't help the confidence of the team. Whereas Pickard's making those saves. Now if things are going good and Pickard lets in a goal, the confidence is a little bit higher with the team during the game that it's not falling as far.
Right.
To me, it's like, I don't know.
I don't know how-
Calvin Pickard is the kicker that late in a game is making the clutch kicks. But he's missing when you're up by 15 or 14. He's missing when you're up by 10. He's missing a crucial field goal. Skinner is you're tied or you're down by 3 and you're asking him to kick a 47-yarder. Difficult kick, but he's missing him.
in this moment.
For the playoffs, I don't care about the
Yeah,
regular
in
season
this-
right now.
you're right.
I don't care about who starts next. For the Stanley Cup playoffs of 2025, that's where. And I think when you're an offense, then again, I'm using the football example here. You have more confidence knowing, okay, if we get into field goal range, this guy's going to kick and get those 3 points if we have to settle for the field goal, as opposed to this guy who we're crossing our fingers. And that's why I think sometimes maybe the players play a little bit better in front of Calvin Pickard as opposed to Stuart Skinner. Like, why else would... What's the other reason for
Because
that?
they have more. They know that Stewart's a better goalie, so they can
They
freewheel
need
a
to
little,
lock it down
yeah.
more when they've got
Right,
their backup
but-
in.
Yeah.
How could you... I'll just question those players then if you're thinking that going into Saturday's game. Because he's
agree with
0-2, Pickard is 6-0, Skinner's having to come back into action. You can't be sitting there and be like, the better goalie's back in net.
That was a scheduled loss, much like
Saturday?
Game 3 at home, Knicks Celtics, which we'll talk about later.
We
It was a scheduled
absolutely
loss.
will get to that
It
later
is
because
All
really-
three of those games were
It is-
scheduled losses
it is
for the Knicks.
Really, but only one of them was.
MCTV tweeted, I see the homie Classen, Knicks in 7 with the gif of Brunson. So we will absolutely...
it'll be Knicks in 6.
we
But,
will we will get to the Knicks.
it is really, really difficult to win 3 games in a row in a series in the playoffs. And even harder to win 7 in a row in the playoffs. That was a scheduled loss. I was shocked that they came back and tied it at the end
I
and
wasn't.
had a chance to get it to overtime.
The Oilers are... if it's a 1-goal game, the Oilers are tying it.
I know. My wife was in Canmore for a girls' weekend, and I was up at 2:30 in the morning, Saturday morning. I emceed a charity walk for suicide awareness. So I was up from 2:30 in the morning.
Was that in the River Valley?
Yeah.
Because I saw the signs up for when I was going for a run on Thursday.
Beautiful walk. So we did that and then went home, slept for an hour, golfed 18, got home, had a whole bunch of honeydew things to do. So secretly, in the third period, I'm texting my wife and I'm like, please don't send this to overtime. Please don't send. I need to go to bed. I am exhausted. And then, Sure enough, they tied it up, and I'm like,
Got your wish.
I guess I'm staying up. So I was not heartbroken that it ended before overtime. And it was a fantastic, as just from a pure spectacle. And I'm not a hardcore Oilers fan. It was pretty, that was a great way to end it. It was
That's a wild game.
Just like the Winnipeg,
game.
3 seconds left to send it to overtime was phenomenal. That's great. I just like the spectacle of it.
I'm with you though, because I didn't want to go to overtime. I'm there with my wife and my
and your
7-year-old
son.
kid. I have the VIP golf show on Edmonton Sports Talk at 8 a.m. the next day, so I got to get up early. I'm like, this is all way past my bedtime already. I got to get home to bed. But I want to shuffle back to Skinner a little bit more because
Hang on for 1 second.
Okay.
Kirby, I see your text. My buddy Kirby texted. He says I need to get some sun on my legs. He's being blinded by my white shins.
Well,
Sorry, Kirby.
He's representing Tommy
Cameras.
G. So.
Yeah. What's that?
Cameras over there.
Oh, don't
You look at the screen over there.
Okay, so I'm
TV guy doesn't
Well, I was
know how
about
to
to say,
TV guy doesn't know
you
where
need
the
the red
camera is.
lights on it or
Well, I need
something.
a big,
Isn't that how it goes?
I need
Or
a big box.
That's how it used to be.
A big box on the camera.
So you probably don't know this, but I'm really good buddies with Stu Skinner, and
Oh.
so we've had many times where we sat and had big heart-to-hearts about his game and all that kind of stuff. And
Sure.
And
Okay,
it's
so tell me,
one of-
is he a guy who's going to lose his confidence?
No, that's why I wanted to get to this, because you've nailed it bang on. He is extremely humble, but quietly confident. Is the way I would describe him, and he's never going to get very high, and he's never going to get very very low.
Right.
He's very even keeled. But this is what is interesting. What is it? We're driving home from the hockey game, listening to the post game on EST and the interview of Stuart Skinner. I've listened to a lot of interviews of Stuart Skinner. As
It was in
I'm
my
sure you
notes to
have.
bring it up today. How well spoken. That was one of the best post game.
I
After a
disagree.
crushing loss like
Yeah.
that, I like that.
I disagree.
Why do you
with that
disagree on that?
Because Stuart Skinner is extremely well spoken and he's a great speaker. But if you go back and listen to that interview, he said 8,000 times. And that's not what he normally does in interviews. And so when you were talking about, the way you say, when you say you don't know what you're not sure what you want to say and whatnot. So I feel like he was thinking a lot in the interview of what the right thing to say was, and normally it just flows for him. But
I also think, though, in that moment, you're within 10 minutes of that game being over, and the cameras are in front of you, and the mics are in front of you.
Yeah.
And you probably, I don't know if he would have had time to seen what happened on that goal. Like he does, so I don't think there was any
Process
time
it.
to process it.
Right.
Like it's not like they lost where they gave up a goal with a minute to go or something, and he had that. It may have just been a minute, but that little extra time, like okay, well we blew this game or whatever, just in the net. Like this was just such a shocking loss where I don't know if outside of a couple of Golden Knights players there thought that game was going to end in regulation. I think everyone across the board, from the TNT panel in Atlanta to everyone in the Moss pits in there, they all thought, okay, intermission's coming up here. What are we going to do? We got to watch overtime coming up here. Got to start getting my picks in for who's going to win, score the overtime goal.
Right.
To all of a sudden, oh no, it's a 2-1 series. And he needed time to still fully process that.
Yeah. And
That I'll
he didn't
give him
have the
that.
time. So that's why I think that there were so many ums, is because he didn't have the time to process it. He didn't know what he really wanted or should be saying in that moment. So he is extremely well spoken, but that was, in my opinion, not one of his better interviews, because he was so many ums, which meant he was questioning. Sure.
That's interesting. I didn't even notice.
You didn't notice it. Oh wow.
No.
Yeah, I didn't.
I was
didn't
more
notice.
focused on
Crazy.
just the content of what he was saying.
Yeah.
Than the
I
way he
also
was
have no
delivering
problem with that. I don't know if anyone had a problem. He said something along the lines of, as a goalie, you want to give your team every chance to win. I thought I did that.
Yes.
I guess it wasn't enough. I agree with all. He did give his team a chance to win.
Yeah.
But in the end, it wasn't. He could have done a little bit more. The rest of the team could have done a little bit more across the board. But they were, again, 0.4 seconds away from going overtime, where they could have won that game, and we wouldn't have been at all talking about the loss or anything like that, right? So that's
Right.
where it's different. I do have I will say, if he doesn't have issues with, the confidence, then that worries me actually, because then why does he keep having these lapses in judgment on the ice?
Well, I can't answer that.
Where I then default to in sports with that one is hockey IQ to a degree maybe then isn't where it needs to be. And that's when then I struggle with that. That's where I actually do stick with the confidence. If I think there's a little bit of at times he lacks that confidence and he overthinks it. Because if he has confidence and he's making some of those plays, then he believes that those are the right plays to make. And then I question a little bit of the hockey IQ at that point. I won't lie on that one.
And when it comes to him as a goalie or any goalie, like they're also missing their best defenseman right now. Mm-hmm. And if you look at that decor to a man, they're not very good. Their defense is not a great defense, especially when you pluck Ekholm out of it. And so the defensive play in front of him, as it isn't with Pickard, but Pickard's letting in goals too.
But he's also making saves and winning the hockey games.
Right. But I'm the D in front. I mean, it's everywhere. Like in that game, early on in the game, I turned to my wife and I said, like, this was maybe 5-6 minutes in the game. I said, the Oilers are flying tonight. They got it going tonight. And then about halfway through the first period, they quit skating.
Shut it down. You were up 2-0.
And they played, in my opinion, poorly, like very much below average. The rest of the way, and the Kings in the last 50 minutes, or sorry, the Knights in the last 50 minutes were the better team, and Stewart made a lot of big saves to bail out the poor play that was happening in front of him. I mean, Leon and Connor, they're not playing very well right now either. I mean, it's.
Oilers are fine, though.
Stewart's the lightning rod right now of everything, and there's a lot of other guys that need to pick up their socks as well if they're going to win.
But it is hard to not look at it and go, like, this is reminding me of MBT. MBT goes out there last season, puts up good points, stats, but they lose still.
Yeah.
Trey Ford comes in, doesn't put up as the same stats, and he wins football games.
Yeah.
And it was never MBT's fault. It's never Skinner's fault. Like in the end, he is 0-3. With the exact same team, Calvin Pickard's 6-0 in these playoffs. Like Pickard hasn't lost with the same defense in front of him, with games where the offense hasn't been playing well enough in front of him. There were two games 3 and 4 here in Edmonton, were going through 40 minutes. Those looked awful. The game looked out of it. They still found a way to win. And with Calvin or with Stuart Skinner, they haven't found a way to win. So it's like some of that does have to go to the goaltending then, because he's the guy that's in net and he hasn't got a single victory in these playoffs. And the other guy doesn't have a single loss in these playoffs. And it's the exact same people in front of him.
I want to hear what you're going to say here.
I hate the blame the goalie thing.
But you said something earlier, and I was expecting you to go back on it, is that you were saying that the team plays better in front of Pickard than they do in front of Skinner.
It looks that way to me.
It does look like
Eric Stevens, LA Kings reporter, during the series when I talked to him on the Reed Wilkins show, he said the same thing. It looks like the team plays better in front of Pickard.
Yeah.
So why is that?
Why is that?
Well, they might just also, one thing is they have more confidence playing in front of Calvin Pickard.
Yeah.
There's that flip side where they believe that the goalie behind them is going to make that extra save that they need to. And or as opposed to when Skinner's out there, they're overthinking it a little bit and make a little bit more mistakes. There's that one side to it.
It's also all just speculation. We don't know
100%.
what's going on
100%
in the dressing room.
Welcome to Sports Talk Radio.
And they're fine.
Absolutely.
They're fine. You came home after winning 2 on the road. Sure, you dropped game 3, but that's to be expected. Now you win game 4, and you're up 3-1, and
it's over.
It's over.
To me, it's over.
Over.
Yeah. The only fear I have is, and again, on that goal, it wasn't just Skinner at the end. That again, Leon tipping that in, Skinner, but then it was everything else that happened before that. That should be the primary cause of what went wrong there. How many Oilers were just staring while
if none of that goes wrong, then Sue doesn't let that goal in. They go to overtime, they win, and everything that we talked about is.
But in the end, with Skinner, for some reason, it always goes the other way. The thing I will say this, with 0.4 seconds is, we look at the Jim Hiller challenge, and some people think that was the turning point of the LA series. Is this going to be the turning point for this series? That's the fear I have. If the Golden Knights win tonight's game, best of 3 now. The home ice has been switched again. I don't feel comfortable saying that. I was comfortable going into Game 3, going, "This series is over."
Again,
and I'm comfortable saying right now, if the Oilers win tonight, this series is over.
I cheer for the Oilers. But again, I'm not a diehard Oilers fan. They're fine.
If they lose tonight, are they still fine?
They're fine.
Are the Toronto Maple Leafs fine right now? Because I don't think they are.
I believe in the Leafs still a little bit. Gut feeling.
I think the team they're playing is in Toronto is different than the team the Oilers are
Right.
playing.
You think Panthers are better than the Golden Knights, you're saying?
I do.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I think Toronto's fine. And you know what? This is good. I've been taking a lot of heat for this. I'm pulling for Toronto. I want Toronto in the final.
Why?
Oh, what a great story. I mean, yes, you have you got the Canadian thing. But I want the Leafs in the final. Like, it would be insane
if they weren't in
Canada,
that market.
In Canada, it would be, not in the States.
If they
weren't in that market where I have to deal with it.
Yeah, that's what would make it so good.
I don't like that part. But I could also understand where they have failed so many times. This core should have been broken up the last 3 summers, basically. They come into this year with absolutely zero expectations around them now, finally. And they get to a cup final.
Yeah,
like that.
I don't care about that. See, that part to me means less. I want to see them.
You want to see Canada hate this?
I want to see
Stanley Cup final. What's wrong with you?
Insane for the Leafs and everybody else yell and scream about Rogers at CTV or CBC or too much Leafs they're shoving. I got a buddy at work who is a diehard Oilers fan, who is cheering for Florida because he just doesn't want to see. And I'm like, how between these two teams can you have more love for the Panthers than the Leafs?
I can answer that for you.
Well, what's the answer?
How?
I want to hear because I'm with you, but I want to
tore your heart out last year.
There's 2 reasons.
And now you're going to pull for that team?
Because the Leafs' hatred is longer standing, for one. It's been there for
why, though? I don't understand Leafs
partly
hatred.
because of how much the Leafs get shoved down our throats. And I will go back to what I said on the Hangout. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? It doesn't matter. I can have it turned off, and it still somehow gets shoved in my throats. TSN and Sportsnet will call me personally and be like, "Hey, the Leafs won." Like the amount of the Leafs won or did they lose? I can't remember which game it was. I get a notification from TSN because I don't have Sportsnet notifications on my phone. I have TSN notifications on my phone because TSN's app is way better. And I get a notification, so I don't get the sports one, so I don't know what Sportsnet does. But TSN's is Leafs win or lose, whatever, the Panthers. Tune into TSN right now for full breakdown, all of this.
Yeah.
Oilers, I don't get that for the Oilers. I don't get that after a Jets game. Yeah. I don't get a tune into TSN for all of the coverage of this. Now, I understand the business model behind it. I do understand all that. I understand that the Toronto Maple Leafs bring clips.
This should bother you way less than people who aren't in the media.
Just because I understand it doesn't mean I have to like it, Josh. I still hate it. I have gone to the rant last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, where if the Leafs, and I hate myself for saying that I think there's something with this Leafs team too. I said it last Wednesday with Belzy and stuff that I could see this team running right now, and I hate myself.
You have belief.
I look at myself in the mirror every morning going, "You disgust me for saying that." I say that to myself. But if they ever won the cup, I would hate the coverage, not just of them winning the cup, but of the Stanley Cup with the player each day.
They can't
and the
win
whole
the cup.
summer that we're going to get shoved down our throats about how, I want to watch my CFL on TSN, but somehow there's going to be the Elks have the football, but we're going to break to Mitch Martiner's parade here. So you can see what's going on in wherever he's from.
It would be,
that's like that. Now I'm taking it to a full extreme there.
Are you?
But there is a part of it. It's like I know what. And if the Oilers would win the cup, and you can only have one life timeline, but if you could see what both would be, it would be so different.
And their fans are annoying
and
too.
I hate it.
100%.
I don't even have an issue with the fans as much anymore. It's the coverage that we get from Toronto that I can't stand. And you're right, I get it. And maybe I'm the one person that shouldn't have this beef because I do get it. I come from that world.
Yeah.
But no, I can't do it.
Toronto.
I don't want it. I'm going to have to move for a year. Because like all of next season, Josh, will be an entire. How are they gonna repeat? It's gonna be all about the repeat.
So good.
If they make it to the Stanley Cup final, I want them to just get gutted. Just torch them.
Well, hey,
Yeah. Because
maybe Chuck is right, and the Oilers will beat the Leafs in the Stanley Cup final.
Wow. Could you like?
I don't know. The country's not ready for that.
Yeah. Oh,
America would hate
Oilers
that for the
Leafs?
most
I know.
part.
Oilers would hate it, or the America would hate it.
Oh,
It'd be a fascinating Stanley Cup final from an American perspective, because someone did text in last week though and go, if the NHL did a good enough job of marketing the stars of that series,
you have huge.
you have massive stars.
There.
But you're right. I mean, are the ratings any better than they were 2 weeks ago?
I haven't seen,
Yeah.
but they weren't a good start. And now reasons for that being no original six teams in the States are in it. The big markets of hockey hotbed like the Chicagos and the Pittsburghs aren't in it. That does hurt it.
Rangers,
but
yeah.
if like you do have a lot of star power if it's Oilers Leafs.
You do.
You would have exciting hockey games if it's Oilers Leafs.
Yeah, that would be the easiest to market.
Well, it should be. But does the NHL know how to do that? And they struggle with
I
that.
don't know.
With the idea of Toronto winning, though, the goalie injury there, how big a factor? Because is Wall going to be able to be the guy's going to backstop him to get by Florida?
No, probably not.
Yeah.
But I don't know enough about that
He just wants to watch the world burn.
situation. I do.
Yeah.
I really do.
It would be wild. I got a question when we were talking about how wild and stuff that would be. Like, in and around the city, I do not feel the buzz of the Oilers this year like it was last year. Last year was off the charts, and this year is just like, I don't.
Is that
feel
because
it.
it's too early?
Yes.
You got to the finals last year. All right.
Last year, it wasn't that way in the first round. There was no playoff feel to me.
Yeah.
Second round, it picked up, with the Canucks. And then
Conference
it
finals.
It took off. I think that's the case right now.
Yeah.
Who cares about the first round for sure?
God,
Second round
just
doesn't
think
matter.
about what a turnaround that is from 5 years. How long? Huh? I mean,
They've won a first round series at least 4 straight
years in a row?
Yeah. So prior to that was the Winnipeg loss, I think, was the first one before that.
and
So
now the fan base is just like, call me when it's the conference finals.
Yeah. It's a good. It could be the.
because if they lose in either of these first two rounds, there's a lot of anger, right?
Sure,
like
'cause
it's
the expectations are
the
through the
expectations
roof,
are so why go all out?
Yeah.
And I think other fans. I remember the year they lost to the Avs in the conference final. Like for me, it was one like, thank God. Like this was tired
was a
out.
long
This was a
run.
long. Like oh my God, I think the city needs. And now I think Edmonton nears. Okay, we need to pace ourselves for
Yes.
the playoffs.
Yeah.
We can't come out all out for game one of the first round.
You can't go hard for 4 rounds.
And go for 4 rounds and go through June. Like that's 3 months worth of this. So I think other fans are going, okay, we got to ease our way into this. And we're going to slowly walk into the pool before we jump fully in.
Yeah.
So
and
are you
then blow it
noticing
out.
that at the ranch too, with like bookings that you're fuller on game nights
Than
than
we
you
were
were
last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still pretty. Like the only time we ever have an empty tea time at the ranch is on Oiler afternoons of Oiler game days
Right.
now, and there's a few open tea times.
Right.
Where like last year, I mean, this is a different beast, but on Game 7 last year, I closed the golf course.
Sure. Yeah. No
Because
one wanted to be there.
No one was going to be there, and the staff didn't want to be there.
Right.
Nobody wanted to be there. No one was going to pay money to come and play golf when Game 7 was going on. So I just shut the golf course down and made everybody happy. But I don't know, like even guys I know that have tickets, season ticket holders and stuff, and they're like, man, I'm having trouble selling my tickets, like just to get my money back, and let
Right.
alone making a few bucks, which is their expectation. So they just
For these early games,
Yeah.
Browns? Well, again, people are saving their money for a conference or Stanley Cup final.
you could be right for sure.
Yeah, last
Or
spring
just saving
cost
their money.
Yeah, they spent all their money last year. They don't have any money left to do it all over again this year.
Although,
It'll be interesting to see. how it
so
goes.
speaking of ticket prices,
Yeah.
So the average ticket price to that Oilers game was what, $388? I think I saw.
Okay.
You know what the average ticket price was for Game 3 in Madison Square Garden? The
For what?
average
Oh,
ticket
for,
price for
for
Knicks
after,
Celtics.
aftermarket.
average. See, but those high,
I don't know
those
if it
other
was
tickets.
aftermarket.
I'm gonna say $650.
I would have said more.
$788 US.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
You couldn't get in there for less than $500 US
that's
To sit on a garbage can
in Madison Square Garden and watch your team get smoked.
well, but it's Knicks, Celtics.
I know.
Like
But I just
MSG,
when we talk
like
about ticket
I
prices,
know.
and they are ridiculously high
And
here. But then you look, and I was just like, that's
And what's the
insane.
population of New York and Boston? I mean, I'll take Boston. New York's 10, or is it higher?
I don't know.
You just the amount of people that could buy those tickets. Second, where's Edmonton? If you go
for
Metro,
sure.
1 point something.
For sure.
So that helps. But yeah.
It's just a smaller market, which is why when they win the cup, they won't get the same coverage that a giant market like Toronto would. Which is why you just play to your audience, right? I mean, there's more people watching that want to watch that.
You look at, like, I think Matt made a good point with the Celtics Knicks. If you look at even the next round of that conference, if you guys do get lucky and win, then like New York against Indiana, New York against Cleveland, barf. Celtics against Indiana.
Hey,
like,
Celtics Indiana was great last year.
Well, but it's still not.
Indiana
it's
blew it
not
in the first 3 games.
It's not the Knicks.
No, I know.
And
From a TV
Celtics.
perspective, yeah, it's a lot harder.
Just tomorrow.
Oh, actually, I don't know. Pacers, Knicks.
Pacers Knicks is going to be incredible.
Well, does anything get brought back up from the
Don't
90s?
count your chickens before they hatch, man.
Reggie Miller versus Spike Lee type
Yeah.
thing. There's that narrative maybe around that series. Because have they ever met
You know
since?
what? I'm going to go back
Well, they
into
met
some
last
texts.
year in the playoffs in the second round, and then
Pacers got
all
past the Knicks last year?
because all the Knicks were injured.
That's right. Sorry. I forgot about that.
Yeah, don't bring that.
Yeah,
back
we
up.
didn't get Knicks Celtics last year.
No, and we were supposed to. And it would have been great to have this series be the conference final, but we're not going to get
Celtics won the World Series or the NBA Finals last year. So that just knocked that playoff out of my mind.
Celtics
Sorry.
would have been an incredible conference final, but the Cavs aren't getting past the Pacers. And I based on what I've seen through the first 3 games, I don't think the Celtics get
This is a text from Josh Classen to me on
I was
Thursday,
being
May
nice
1st.
to you.
The Celtics are going to smoke the Knicks. I love my team, but ... They're not on the C's level this year as much as it pains me to say that. Then a couple texts later, OKC Celtics would be a great final.
It would be a great final.
Yeah, go
That's not
SGA.
what we're getting.
Then after game 1, Celtics
Either
are...
way.
Josh texts me again. Celtics are never going to shoot that poorly again.
Except they
Knicks
did in game
had
2.
to win this one or they were never going to win. And okay,
They didn't have to win that one.
Now
And they had to win game
they've
2.
got lucky twice,
Now
and all of a sudden,
they didn't get lucky though. Is the thing they didn't.
The Celtics had
They did
25
not.
point leads in all 3 games.
20-point leads in the fourth quarter of both games, and
Yeah.
they blew both of them, which is
Wow.
why I am confident.
That's because they took their foot off the gas, and now they know.
No, they
in
did not take their foot off
In
the
game
gas.
3, they kept their foot down and they they had their foot on their throat, and this time they kept their foot on their throat
Knicks
instead of like,
came
oh, these
out-
guys suck.
The Knicks were that.
They played-
Again,
the Knicks
it's a
played great, I
scheduled-
know.
It was a scheduled loss for the Knicks, and I think the moment was too big for that team with all the hype,
Yeah, because you win that, it's over.
all the alumni that were there. Everybody wanted that roof to blow off. And Boston's the champions. They're not going to go down 3-0, but they are going to go down 3-1 after tonight.
That series to me,
Well, that's
largely.
the pedigree, though, the championship pedigree of the Celtics. I mean, they know how to win. They did it last year.
They
I
do,
mean,
but they choked in 2 games at home.
They did.
Now, they are better on the road.
But that's why the Knicks need this game more than the Celtics.
Absolutely.
Oh,
If
for
it
sure.
goes
The
2-2
Knicks-
The
tonight,
Knicks are not winning
need this.
3
If
games
it's-
in
if it's
Boston.
If it's 2-2,
go back to
you're
Boston.
done. You're done.
The Knicks are
No,
not winning
I
3
still
games
wouldn't
in
say
Boston.
it's done at that point.
Oh, I find that winning 3 games in Boston in a series.
Knicks are good on the road.
Boston, 3 in Boston.
Do you want me
in
to
one
go back
series?
and read that
The-
text about how your team is not on the same level as
Well,
the Celtics?
would
That came
you
out of
have
your
not
mouth
said,
a week ago.
Would you have not said that going into this series based on what you saw during the regular season?
sure, but
they
the
were
Celtics-
not even.
the Celtics
the
are
Knicks
not-
were 0-10
Yeah.
against Cleveland, Boston, and OKC. 0-10.
And they should be 0-13 now, but the Celtics decided to take the foot off their throat.
No.
Nah, you got to give credit for the
I
for
know.
the
The
Knicks. I got to give them
texted
10
and I
credit
said
for that.
they played
defense
great.
stepped up.
They did.
The Knicks are plus 200 on the money line. Okay, I got to look this up on Play
I
Alberta
don't
here.
understand the betting. So
I'll
is that
explain it.
good or
No,
is that bad?
that's the underdogs.
Yeah.
By actually a large margin. I just see. I was on my ESPN app, so I am pulling up Play Alberta to see what we've got here. Basketball. Basketball.
The one thing I'd say,
Minus 278 on the money line is the Boston Celtics. Knicks are plus 190. They have Celtics 6-point favorites in this game, so they say the Celtics are going to win by 6 or more. That is heavy favorites for the Boston Celtics on Play Alberta. I do like the Knicks, though.
Now, the other thing I'd say,
Yeah.
the Celtics this year compared to last year is last year we were pretty darn healthy in the playoffs.
Right.
And we're not very healthy right now.
No, you need a healthier Porzingis for sure.
And, Brown's certainly playing pretty injured.
Yep.
And whatnot. So they're not at full health. And I don't follow your team very much, to be honest. So I don't
here's
know
the deal with
how
my
healthy
team.
they are or unhealthy they are.
My team right now they're healthy. They're the healthiest they've been.
Yeah. So that's a big factor. For
Yes,
sure.
in the playoffs for years. So if the Knicks can keep it close, they win.
They'll close it out.
What I saw in game 1 and 2, the Celtics don't have that killer instinct like the Knicks do. They in the last 2 minutes. Yeah. That's why you got.
Yeah,
That's why they call him Captain Clutch, Player of the Year,
They were
Jalen
expecting
Brunson.
to win. The Celtics just thought and expected they were going to win. Now they know. Now they know we're in a series. Okay, we got to play.
There is some. We will get.
Jason Tatum looked shook at the end of game 2. He didn't know what to do.
How do you
You got
look in-
18 seconds. All you have to do is make one basket.
How do you look?
Couldn't
in
even
game
get a
three?
shot off.
How did he look in game 3?
He looked fine. They all looked fine. But they're not going to shoot 50% again from 3. They're not.
They do that a lot.
No, that's even
That's
high.
their game.
That's high for
That's
them.
a little high.
Josh Classen, McCourt, Matt Iwanyk with you here on EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage, here in your clear choice for Edmonton Sports Talk, which is presented by Play Alberta. Play Alberta, your home for online gaming excitement, featuring casino games, live dealer action, lottery instants, and sports betting. Now with the new Play Alberta app, you can take the fun with you anywhere. Download the app or sign up today at playalberta.ca. Portions of this hour of the Hangout are brought to you by the High Product Marketing, official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk, promotional products that bring the buzz. Check them out, thehighproductmarketing.com.
Holy, you like
we've got
auctioneer?
You've
or
done
what?
that once or twice.
Yeah, a few times, I guess. Lock Shop, Oil Stream, EST Afternoons, Reed Wilkins Show, all to come till 6 o'clock. And then the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pre and post game shows. Tommy live at Ice House, getting you set for that. Okay, so there's one thing we're missing on this Knicks Celtics
You
series.
needed to get to something because you ran through.
I needed
that
to get through
so
those
fast.
Well, because there's something we needed to get through for Knicks Celtics,
okay.
and it's not even just Knicks Celtics. It's Knicks this playoffs, and that's divine intervention.
The Nova Knicks and the Nova Pope.
So this team, the Knicks, have how many Villanova players?
4.
We just had a Pope be elected. The white smoke came last Thursday, I think it was. And was Pope Leo the 14th? Where did he go to school?
Villanova.
Oh, come on.
We have an American Pope that no one thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
No one was expecting American Pope. He's from Villanova. He's a White Sox fan where there's video of him in the crowd of the White Sox World Series, which is wild. And now he, though, is Pope Leo the 14th that no one was expecting. The team that is full of Villanova players.
That no one's expecting to win, except for him.
Divine intervention. Divine intervention
It doesn't
here.
matter if anybody expects them to win. They think they can win.
Yeah, that's important, no question.
And maybe God was sending a sign from the Cardinals inside the Sistine Chapel to everyone going, this is Villanova's year. They didn't go do it in the March Madness, but they're going to do it with the Pope, and we're going to do it with the
Nova
Knicks.
Knicks.
That is something, though. 4 players from the same college on the same team. That does not happen very often.
Well, did they go back to-
No,
were
sorry.
they part of
They're down
those?
to 3 because Dante, they had to get rid of Dante last year. So they've got Brunson, Josh Hart, and Mikal Bridges. All played
similar
on the same. They
age? They
all
all fit
won a
together.
championship together at Villanova with Dante, the big ragu. But
Those were some good teams.
I
by
don't
Jay
even.
Wright.
Yeah, I don't even remember those teams. But
One of the Villanova wins, Jay Wright, I remember it was like a last second shot, buzzer beater to win it. he was cold as hell. He just walked up to the other coach and shook his hand, didn't celebrate or anything.
Yeah.
It's wild. Love Jay Wright. But it's divine intervention, Murray. Like that might be the thing here.
If it's in God's hands, then there's nothing I can do about it. But what do you do?
I think the sign was the white smoke wasn't just for the Pope; it was for the Knicks too.
No white flag, just white smoke.
Listen, if the Knicks win, I will be very happy for you. I got
Thank
a championship last year.
Yeah, you got.
It's all good.
I'm behind the Knicks for you and Mark Mageau.
Yeah,
You guys need something good to happen for you guys. You guys are also Jets fans, so like
yes.
Oh.
And I'll never never be able to cheer for the Jets. Like I can't. But I could give you.
It's going to be a good year. The other side. This is going to be a good year for the Jets
because you don't have an idiot quarterback anymore.
SGA winning too would also be something I really want to see. I want him to get his ring. Jamal Murray's got his ring.
Yeah.
I'd like SGA. Like imagine a year where he gets the NBA MVP plus the ring. He might win the Canada Player of the Year award. What is it? The Northern Star Award?
Yeah, something like that. They
He'll win
changed
that.
it. It's not the Lou Marsh anymore,
Yeah.
right?
If he wins the NBA title, he'll win that title. I think he'll win that.
I'm trying to think what other Canadian athletes would be in the running for.
In the early part of the year, there wouldn't be one because it's also not an Olympic year.
Right.
And Olympic years help elevate things.
Four Nation Cup year. Connor McDavid.
It was
winning
too
goal.
short. If Connor wins a Stanley Cup, changes that.
Yeah.
If Connor wins a Stanley Cup, has a Four Nations with the game-winning goal, it would be an interesting vote to see him versus SGA for the end of the year.
Yeah.
That would be the big conversation, the big debate.
Well, to be
But
fair,
Connor needs the Stanley Cup for that. Outside of that, I'm looking at next year for Connor being the favorite because
What
there'll
if
be
Trey
Olympics.
Ford wins the Grey Cup?
He'd have to be MOP. He'd have to be regular season MOP. But I don't think that beats SGA.
Probably not.
Like he should be the MVP of the league.
Oh,
SGA might.
SGA.
Gilgeous-Alexander might be the most underrated Canadian superstar in the world right now.
And
I would have to say, I think the least household name right now of the greatest Canadians right now playing sports. He might be up there that I think there's a lot of people that still don't know who.
He's the MVP of the league,
Gilgeous-Alexander.
and people don't even know how to pronounce his name.
Yeah, I think I say it wrong.
he won MVP of the NBA.
He's going to.
He will.
Everyone thinks he will.
It'll be
this
him
year.
and Jokic.
He was overwhelming favorite going to the end of the season.
Wow.
Yes. So we saw him play when we went to go watch Golden State in February or in January. And
Gilgeous-Alexander.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Gilgeous.
Yeah. But people say Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Right?
Okay.
Because it's spelled like the old. You remember the old R&B group Shai?
Of
He's
course.
one of the Villanova guys?
No.
Where did he go
no.
to college?
SGA. I have no idea where.
Well, it was one of the worst trades that will go down in NBA history.
But he was quietly,
He's only 26.
quietly, he put up 48 points. And it was just like it was nothing.
He was Kentucky.
Well, big school. And what was the trade? Where was he?
Oh, it was the Paul George trade with
Clippers.
the Clippers. Clippers brought in Paul George. I don't even think they got anything else. And they sent Gilgeous-Alexander and multiple picks.
Yeah.
I don't even have to go look at what those picks are.
Yes. Nobody was expecting this from SGA.
No, but in the end, it's going to look
Yeah, it'll look
as one of the outright worst trades that you can have. Because also, like, they went out and they beat the Clippers I think in the bubble, or is it after? Yeah, no, it would have been the bubble. And I think Gilgeous-Alexander had a great playoffs. That was almost the start of his coming out.
Right.
Professional career. I got to see this trade. It was SGA, Danilo Gallinari, 5 first-round picks, and the rights to swap 2 other first-round picks for Paul George. I'd love to see what those picks turned into.
How long ago was this?
July 2019.
It was that long ago?
Because it was going into that next season, because that was the year Kawhi signed with the Clippers.
Right.
And then the Lakers won that. It was 1920, because the Lakers they brought in Davis, they brought in LeBron, or they had LeBron already, and there was talk of would Kawhi go there, but he ended up going to the Clippers, and then they brought in Paul George, and that overnight, what just happened here?
And then instead we now end up with Luka on the Lakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. I'm very happy.
You
I
were
really wanna
touting
know
up
what those-
the Lakers as the champions this year. How'd that play out for you?
They lost, Murray.
Oh,
they
okay.
lost.
Just checking.
They're out.
I couldn't remember. I just needed to find out.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I'm okay with it because they needed a big in the end. Like I expected them to go further. They needed a big. They thought they had it at the deadline. They rescinded the trade because of the thing. This is now the offseason. They need to go ultimately figure out this team in the offseason. And if they can, they could rattle off one more victory. They could go get one more championship with LeBron. But with Luka, I still, like with LeBron and AD, it was, okay, this is going to end. What does the future post-LeBron look like?
For the franchise, it was the right move because
For-
now you can brand around Luka for the next.
And that's the thing with this, it's, okay, they lost this year, but I still see a good 10, 12-year future for the Lakers now because even if LeBron goes peace, they have Luka, and then with the money that they would have spent on LeBron, they could bring in a piece to work with Luka. They would go win some titles. So I'm like,
well, how that Luka trade, that's got to go down as pretty high up on the list of worst trades ever. From
some said it was the worst. I can't find it right now.
5 first-round picks.
I think that trade that in
They didn't get a first-round pick.
in
though.
hindsight.
The Mavs didn't
And
get
I
a
think
first
over the
rounder.
next 2 years, that trade will look more and more even.
How? They didn't get anything.
Yeah, you got Anthony Davis. They're going to be. They're going to
Isn't he
be.
old?
No. Anthony Davis is not that old.
AD's
I mean, he's been around for a while, and he's injury prone. Is his problem?
he's 32.
They're
Yeah, I thought he was older.
they'll be fine.
Luka is
Mavs will be
20. What? Luka's 25.
That trade's going to look more and more even.
But the
They
other,
didn't get a
Book this
first-round
and
pick.
2 years
26.
later. No, the problem is that they didn't shop Luka
because
Sure.
they could have got
to get more.
But even like with the Lakers, like you didn't even get a first-round
it's
pick for him.
horrendous.
That like it's all on what they do over the next 2 years with AD. If they okay, what is they have to go win a title.
yeah,
They're not winning a title in the
well,
West.
they weren't going to win a title with Luka, so. But they were going.
They might have. They got to a final.
They were going to make a ton of money off jerseys, right? So
And if the
we'll
Lakers
see.
go win a
We'll
title
see
with
how
Luka
it
at any point,
plays out.
it's just
I
an
think-
immediate loss. It's already a
We'll
loss.
see.
So a way,
It looks like a loss right now. We'll see how it plays.
a way that you need to look at every trade in every sport in this day and age, though, and a trade like this is it's now freed up a lot of money for them to do something with.
Right.
So whether it's free agency or get in a different superstar
Who, the
in a
Mavs?
trade. Yeah.
I don't know how much money it fully freed up.
The money
Because
would have been
AD's got a
pretty-
good contract on. They didn't have to give the supermax though, so there's a little bit of cash there.
And if AD's 32 versus what he's 25,
Six.
26,
Luka,
yeah. So I mean, it's all part and parcel over the future too. That's a lot of money they were going to have to pay him to keep him, so they can spend that money instead of on him on somebody else.
But the issue now you will have, possibly, is a superstar or a good player saying, "I don't want to go there. You might not keep me."
Yeah, that's fair.
You got rid of Luka that quickly. What's to say I sign there, and you're going to get rid of me pretty quickly? And the one thing about the NBA is, I think right now there's only 2 no trade clauses. That league does not give no trade clauses.
Yeah.
One of them is Bradley Beal.
And every player in the NHL has a no trade clause. It seems like.
That's So I think that's the thing that also is going to hurt the Mavs moving forward.
Who you got in the final, Matt?
I did a bracket with Yukon Jack and his family.
Yeah.
I had the Lakers in the final, so
No.
I had to go that way.
My son and I do a bracket every year before the playoffs. He has Golden State beating the Knicks in the. I'm like, you can't do a bracket based on your heart.
That's what I did. I picked the Lakers,
Yeah, I know.
and look how that turned out.
This is not going to be good.
I'll say this: winner of OKC Denver
Yeah.
meets winner of Knicks Celtics.
You don't think you don't
I
give
agree.
Minnesota a chance to beat OKC or Denver?
No,
Really?
no. I think it'll be a great run. I think part of it is Minnesota just never
It's too
gets it
bad.
done.
It's too bad Curry's hurt.
But the Nuggets are looking pretty good again to a degree.
Yep.
They're pushing OKC.
Yeah. which will be good for OKC moving forward.
And I
They
think
need to get pushed.
there's divine intervention with the Knicks if they beat the Celtics. It's over. We should have seen that. We should have seen this. We should have looked for the Villanova Pope beforehand. We should have after it was the lead in the series.
I know.
Or the Celtics are going to go repeat, or get back there. I don't see the Cavs, Pacers, Timberwolves, or the Golden State Warriors without Steph. Really,
Pacers kind of scare me.
Why?
they challenged the Celtics so well last year.
That's a playoff team.
They should have been up 3-0 on the Celtics last year in that Eastern Conference final.
But they weren't.
I know,
No.
but they blew the last possession 3 straight games.
Yes.
That's the part that scares me of the Pacers.
Yep. So we'll see.
Yeah.
It's been at
why
the
you
very
play the
least. It's been
games.
entertaining.
Yeah.
At the very least. How entertained have you been with LIV Golf this year? Sorry.
Let's get the Hangout headlines, which is brought to you by the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
win though yesterday?
From premier golf
really
facilities,
good, yeah.
corporate branded products to Ranch, your all-in-one tournament host, proud host over 180 tournaments each year, including the EST Golf Classic presented by Play Alberta. They're here to execute all your tournament ideas. Book your tournament today. Visit ranchgolf.com or book your tee time today.
Can you read that one a little slower than you read the other ones? Well, you don't have to do it again, but in the
The Ranch. Everyone knows the Ranch is the place to go,
well, that's true.
and that is the place to book. That is the only place to book your tournaments. They make it so.
We only
easy.
have
They make it so
171 of them booked right now for this year.
171 tournaments.
We'll probably end up between 185, 190, I think.
They make it so
So
easy
2
to
a day.
deal with it.
Sometimes more.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So like if we have a full golf course is 144 players. So like the EST tournament is 156
or so.
players. Okay, so that fills the golf course. But if
157 when I just show up and
Well.
sneak onto a team.
Actually, I can talk to you about that after.
then if we book a 100-person tournament, that doesn't fill up the golf course. So we'll
Right.
put a 40-person tournament with them.
Oh.
There's 144. We have a smaller banquet room upstairs, bigger one downstairs. So the 100 people goes downstairs, 40 goes upstairs, private meals. I mean, if you're 100 players or you're 40 players, there's going to be other people on the golf course anyway, so it doesn't matter if it's a tournament.
Right.
And so then in the afternoon, if there's an 80-person tournament, and we put a 60-person tournament with them, and there's a full golf course. And boom.
Like all
They're just so
all
good
the
at what they do.
activations on the holes and the drinking
some
holes and the
tournaments-
food holes.
Some tournaments have a lot of that. A lot of tournaments have very little of that. I mean, the tournaments you're playing in more so are the charity ones, the big
Yeah.
fundraiser ones, like the EST tournament and things like that. Yeah, but if you're just Joe Blow company and you have your
Company
staff and
tournament.
tournament, and there are 60 people playing in it, they don't have a lot of that.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, some tournaments have all kinds of bells and whistles. Some
Yeah.
tournaments don't. And again, it's typically the bigger ones that have a lot of bells and whistles. If you're having a 60-person tournament, you probably don't have a lot of bells and whistles, and you're not having the food holes and the.
Yeah.
You might have a booze hole or two, but we got ways of managing all that. We got it down to a science, man.
I'd never put on a golf tournament last year, and I was nervous all year. And every time I met or talked with Adam or Trevor with them, it was just, yeah, it's fine. It was like everything was rolling.
got it.
And I'm like trying to figure
We've
like,
dealt with this
why you guys
before.
the first time I met with them, Adam's like, yeah, things are going to happen the day of. We've dealt with it. Yeah, this is going to happen. We've seen it before. This or this could happen. We've done that. Like, it was just like,
Yeah.
there's nothing we haven't seen that we're not going to be able to handle. So whatever goes wrong that day,
Yeah.
we
got it.
We got it. And it was just like, wow, that's very relieving. And like watching last year, and anytime I saw Adam, he's like, you good? I was like, yeah, like everything good. He's like, yeah, no, we're fine. Like, all's good. I'm like, oh, it's really nice.
The one thing I got to throw in there, though, that I Adam and Trevor, they don't say yes to everything. We do have rules
No,
and
100%.
parameters for sure. That you
But it's like they deal with it. They've gone with like things like something that you're not expecting to happen.
Sure. I
And
agree.
like how, like I remember if a random people show up, like, hey, I want to be in this tournament type thing.
that happens a lot.
And they're like, well, and but they know how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
They know how to handle it or something. And it's just like, wow, this is very easy.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing clearly.
Yeah, it happens a lot where we, whatever, 120-person tournament, and then 2 groups show up that we registered for the tournament, like, the organizers of the event, like, oh, shoot, we forgot to put you down and stuff like that. So now they come to us, we got 8 players just showed up. What can we do? Well, it's okay. We can handle it.
Sneak
It's
'em
all
in.
good. Yeah. We'll
Slide 'em
get
in.
them on this spot and this spot, and yeah, it's all good. But, when we have that many tournaments, so I book we Adam and Trevor is our events team, and Andrew. So Adam's our events manager, Trevor's our events coordinator. I book every tournament myself because then that way I have control of manage the tee sheet because I've done it for a million years, so I know what can work and what can't work and understand our rooms and everything like that. Plus, Adam and Trevor don't have time because they got to organize 190 tournaments. So I book everything myself. No tournament phone call ever goes to them until it's booked. So I book it in, deal with the deposit, get all that taken care of. Once it's all booked in, here's the file on to Trevor and Adam, and they work with the organizers like Matt and go over all the details and make sure nothing gets missed. Then also, because we have 190 tournaments and that's a lot of work, we have one of our assistant pros, Andrew, who also works with them, half in the pro shop, half on tournaments. So sometimes they can go home a little earlier and Andrew will finish off tournaments at night or whatever and make it so they can actually go get a little bit of sleep. But so there's really, it's not my full-time job to book tournaments, but it's a lot of what I do.
Right.
And it's not Andrew's full-time job, but it's basically Trevor and Adam and a combination of, so it's, 3 full-time people that manage it all.
So that's obviously a bigger money maker for you guys than just having the course open and guys
Absolutely.
and girls golf.
Way more food, way more booze,
Yeah.
way more spending money in the pro shop. I mean,
Right.
it's a full package that, so you're getting a lot more dollar per head with a tournament than you are
On a Tuesday when you're just booking tee times.
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I would guess, as someone who doesn't do that sort of thing, it would be like, oh, this is a hassle. Why are we hosting all of these tournaments? But if it's making you that much money, you deal with the hassle.
Yeah, exactly. So we have no members, 0.
Yeah.
And well, I shouldn't say that. We have a couple that have been grandfathered in, but they know our business and our program and how it works. And so they've chosen to stay because they love it there. And but yeah, we haven't sold a membership for a decade. And because we know who we are as a business and we knock it out of the park. So
Yep.
It is true. We were talking golf.
Yeah.
Straka.
Seb Straka. I like Seb Straka. And it was nice. It was kind of nice to see 2 portly dudes in the final. It was nice to see. I felt bad for Shane Lowry though, and JT's putting it together this year. It's good.
He's had a pretty solid year for sure.
Now it's PGA Championship week.
The U.S.
It
is
is.
going to get smoked at the Ryder Cup though.
Hopefully.
Don't they usually? Yeah, they usually do.
Man,
They had a good one. Didn't they just recently?
There's no
no,
team
they lost the last one.
unity.
They won
Then 2 ago.
They won the Presidents.
There's
No, they won one of the last 2 Ryder Cups, and they had a pretty strong showing at the Ryder Cup then.
In France?
No, so
slaughtered.
Or in
Last
Rome?
one, yeah.
in Italy
Or
it
was it
wasn't, but then
Rome?
so maybe it was the one before that. In 21, Whistling Straits, 19-9, US won.
Yeah, there's
was a
just no
dominating
team
performance.
unity, no team chemistry on USA because golf's an individual sport, but in the Ryder Cup, it's just so different, right?
Right.
And that connection and camaraderie of the Euros is it's awesome to see. They're all really close and whatnot. And like when you have guys like Patrick Reed on your team that everyone hates, no one wants to play with them.
Although him and JT were great for a while.
He's a good player, but nobody.
They just had a good pairing. They were a good pairing. They didn't like each other, but they worked well off of each other.
Reed.
Back in the day.
He's had a couple good showings though lately.
I live.
Yeah.
That no one's watching but you.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't care. I'm watching.
So you're the one. I said that actually on the show yesterday. Texter texted in and was kind of asking what we think is going to happen. And we get this question a lot on the VIP Golf Show: is what's going to happen with LIV and PGA, and they're going to amalgamate and things like this. And
Have you changed your perspective on that?
on them amalgamating?
Yeah.
I think that LIV is never going to go away, but they are at some point, because they're obviously talking and trying to do something. They're at some point they're going to get together and find a way to work together, but LIV's still going to be there, and they're going to be able to kind of go
Coexist.
back and forth a little bit. But there's still the factor that comes into it that makes it such a difficult thing to happen is the guys that left and went over there and got paid boatloads of money how does that sort itself out? And the
Well, you sorted it out with signature events that you're giving boatloads of money to these guys
Not the
for.
same boatloads
With,
of money.
not the same boatloads.
And
Like,
you have to go earn still those money where it's not just a guaranteed money.
that's part. It has to be part
They're
of
also
the
suspended.
factor here. Yeah, suspended. So, but they can say
How do you
yeah,
overcome that part of it, and what does it take
well,
to
it's
be
pretty,
unsuspended?
pretty easy.
to say you're
You just say
unsuspended.
you guys are no longer suspended.
But what would the
We're
rest of the
merging
PGA members think? Like the players, like, and that's the version.
Yeah.
I'm more fascinated by LIV in the sense of contracts are starting to run up soon.
Yep.
Correct.
Over the next 2 to 3 years, the majority of those contracts will have run out.
What happens then?
Is LIV going to pay the same amount for players and those players?
I say no, but you would.
Yeah, I have no insight into it either. I don't think, based on what I read, I don't think LIV's going away.
I don't think it is either.
I also think though that there's like they might have endless money, but there does come a point where they need to see some sort of return on their money,
And they're not getting that.
and they're not. And
No.
I think LIV's going away still.
Yeah.
I think the PGA is going to run out the clock here, not get anything done with LIV, and then when those contracts run up, they're going to see what LIV does. There's only one player
what
that
the-
matters on LIV right now.
And what the players do.
Absolutely.
Bryson and John.
I'm just saying
And
Bryson
Rocco
right
Neiman.
now. John is signed for longer still because he's a more recent
He
signing,
came later.
and he signed a pretty decent deal. I don't know if I want to feel like it was
500
5
million,
years,
I think. Yeah.
or was it 3 years?
I thought they were all 5.
Oh, I thought some of them were only like 2-3 year deals initially. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
Well,
but
but
it's
for the captaincies, though. I think.
Oh, I see.
Right, they were longer. Like so, the other guys, because you aren't guaranteed to be on the tour next year. No, LIV. You can get cut.
But for some of those guys, it's do they want to come to the PGA? Are they going to want to stick there? The older guys would.
Yeah.
Bryson's the one the PGA. I don't like Bryson, but he's the one the PGA needs to find a way to get back because that would end LIV.
It's
Yeah,
such.
you're right.
No, I don't. I don't know that it would.
What
It's
star
such
power do you have if you LIV? If you don't have
it's
Bryson.
Such an international series, though, and lineup that I think they probably lose. Like even if Bryson left, you still run all those events in
Sure,
Tokyo.
but is
and,
anyone watching? Are you making any money?
Singapore. Well, I don't know.
That's the,
Well,
but that's
you're watching.
I don't
Yeah.
know if it's hard to
I
see
don't
them
know
making
what the viewership is online.
seeing
overseas.
photos from it don't seem like it's massive events.
No, the Aussie one is.
That's the Aussie one is, but that's like the other ones don't look too often like that. These are major events getting you boatload of ticket sales.
No.
It doesn't. Right now, I don't know about the TV audience. No one does, and I think if things were going well, LIV would tell us that things were going well. So so it's like
not.
if you lose Bryson, there is no real star power that you have that people are clamoring for. Bryson has made himself into a star by going to LIV. He's the only one. Everyone else has kind of faded away,
Yes. Yeah,
Even Rahm has faded.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
right? And
Yep.
so it's if the PGA could get a Bryson back, it's tough for LIV. But I go back to the contracts. If what's going on, are they going to re-sign those? And if they re-sign those guys, LIV's not going anywhere. If they get through one negotiation and finish that, then LIV's sticking through this. But if they're going to some of those guys, and we're seeing them as be free agents, they might come back to the PGA or try to. I worry about LIV in a good.
I wonder how many of them would actually come back, right? Like
Or be allowed to come back.
Yeah, like Eugenio Shikara, right? Left LIV, left the Fireballs last year because he said, "I have enough money. I want to. I want to earn my way back onto the." So he's playing on the Asian tour. He's playing some DP World Tour events to try and get his status back on the PGA. So there is an avenue for it. There's another guy that's trying to do that. Is it Laurie Cantor? He's playing DP. And a lot of those DP events have LIV guys playing.
Yeah.
So
It was just fascinating when you brought up that team name. I'm like, what? It's so stupid. I know
Why?
you like because it's stupid.
you know what the team aspect is? I think that's the thing that will save LIV. Is that they have that team aspect. If it was exactly like the PGA, but a knockoff that nobody was watching, fine. But
now it's a team sport that no one's not watching.
If people did,
It needed to be different.
If if it had a proper TV deal, I think it would get more. The viewers would be there.
Sure, but you're on Fox this year. You moved off CW. You're on Fox Sports 1.
Yeah, you're on Fox Sports. You're not on Fox.
Doesn't matter.
Like,
I
can't watch it on TV here.
No, but
it's not on
in the
Fox.
US. It is.
Yeah, if you have Fox Sports, but how many people have Fox Sports 1? Not as many as have ESPN.
No. But that also says what type of product you have that ESPN doesn't want you.
Sure.
Well, okay, so I'm a golf pro. I've hosted my own golf show for 7 years.
Yes,
and if you can't get me, like, what are you doing? Like, it's just I said on the show yesterday that I'm gonna have you when I answer this question.
Do you discuss the DP World Tour?
No.
Right, but the DP World Tour has been around for forever, is a valid tour, but you don't discuss that. But they're not going anywhere.
That's minor leagues of the minor leagues. I mean, the LIV's trying to compete with the big boys.
Yeah.
So, but I don't even know when an event is. I would have no idea who's won an event. It's just it doesn't. It doesn't.
So
even
how
really,
do you
it
how
exists,
do you know
but it
those
doesn't
things
really
about
exist.
the PGA? When the event
Because
is,
I care
who's won
about it.
But where do you get that information from? Right, so it would
Which
be
LIV is also right there too.
Yeah, but I
just
don't
as
waste
easy
my
to,
time. But
Like if I
I-
click, ESPN is my favorite app. If I click, I can go to golf.
And, it probably
And
wouldn't
I
say-
can
Well,
go.
we're
All
in
my
a-
all the leagues are here. It's PGA, LPGA, TGL, LIV, PGA Tour Champions, Corn Ferry, DP, Augusta Nationals, Women's
no
Amateur League. I said
No
LIV.
LIV is
Oh,
on
you
there.
did say live. Okay.
And then if you click, and then you can go into the scores with it, and like it is. And when I click on, I will say LIV does show up on my ESPN app. Has the scores of the day over the weekend when there's a LIV event somewhere in there. LIV is there. There it goes. PJ LIV is there.
Okay. So
It hasn't sucked me in. I've tried. It's not for me.
I did say when
that's
I
fine.
answered that question from the text on the show that are going to have you on the show again. And I said to Stalker, we'll give Josh another chance to convince
I'm
us
not
that
trying
LIV is
to win
worth
anybody.
watching.
I'm not trying to win anybody over. If you don't want to watch it, you don't want to watch it. If you don't want to watch the LPGA, don't watch the LPGA. But it's still a valid tour. If you don't want to watch the Asian tour, don't watch it. But it's a valid tour.
I want to ask you
It
about
is.
a
I just
player,
want it to
though.
fail.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got to ask you
I
about
want
a
it to
guy.
because I want the best players all in one league in the pros.
They're there at the majors.
I don't want it four
LIV
times
is
a
like
year.
the WHA was to hockey back in the 70s. That's what I view it as. But okay, here's my question about a guy. I thought I was buying into Cameron Smith. I thought Cameron Smith was going to be the next up and coming guy, number one player in the world, and then he went to LIV and he sucks when he plays in these events. I'm curious how he does in LIV events. If in your analogy of him, because he was heading there to the
Yes.
If he never left, he'd be right up there with Scheffler and Rory, in my opinion, as one of the top few players in the world. And now he sucks.
Well, he doesn't suck. You're just not seeing his. So where are Ripper's GC? Because I think Ripper's won back to back this year.
These teams,
But they're all Aussies, right? So it's you have these teams that are built with primarily
John Rahm has a
guys
lot of-
from. They're all Euros, right? You got Tyrrell Hatton, you got Tom McKibben, who was going to be a star on the PGA Tour, but decided to sign with Legion 13, and you got Caleb Surratt, who was going to be, maybe not a star on the PGA Tour, but a young up and
I've
coming
never even heard of him.
kid. Well, he was the number one PGA the year that he signed last year when he signed with LIV.
He was in a U.S. college?
Yep.
Okay.
And then
Did he win the USAM?
so I don't know if he won the USAM, but he was the number one ranked college player that year. So Legion 13 is the top team, and where's Ripper? Ripper's the fourth best team in the league. Cam Smith is
How many teams is there?
13. That's why Legion 13. They were the 13th team. So
Ah.
Rombo named them Legion 13. Cam Smith is behind P. Reed, 18th this year. See? And he's a great golfer. and yet
He was a
the league
he was
is
becoming
so
a great
stacked
golfer.
that Cam Smith is the 18th best.
No,
Or the flip side, he's only like he's not further down because there's not enough good golfers.
Taylor Gooch is behind him. Tyrrell Hatton's behind him. Tom
Gooch,
McKibben.
isn't Gooch the one that said
Gooch.
Rory's Masters, if he ever won the Masters, was always going to have an asterisk? next to it?
Yes. Yeah.
Prior to the victory.
this like it's,
HV3. Bubba
the
Watson.
fact that
Bubba has
Cam
fallen off the
Smith
face
is
of the
not,
Bubba's actually played really well lately.
That doesn't.
yeah, but it doesn't count because he's not playing very many good. There's not very many good players over there.
What are
There's
you
no
talking
depth.
about?
There's no depth there.
You got Joaquin Neiman,
He's a really good
Easily.
golfer right now.
Sure, yeah.
top 10 golfer in the world.
He would be.
Bryson DeChambeau, top 10 golfer in the world. Probably.
Probably, yeah.
John Rahm, top 10 golfer in the
Not
world.
right now.
Was
Not right now.
Not anymore.
You're insane. You're
He
not
hasn't been-
watching any of the.
Hey,
How
Live.
do you
it's a-
do in the Masters?
He's what?
He
He
hasn't.
won 2 years ago.
Well,
Yeah, when he was
2
still
years
on
ago.
PGA.
Exactly. And now,
He has fallen.
he'll be fine.
when guys go
He might
over
be
there,
fine.
they
He
drop
has
off.
not.
But I think
He
if
has
a
not
top golfer,
performed as well.
like Scheffler's there, Rory is there right now.
Yeah. Sergio's had a huge year.
How's he doing the majors over when he plays against all the good players? Oh, very good.
How did Serge do in the Masters this year?
I think he made the cut.
I can't even remember if he made the cut. But these outside of DeChambeau, all these guys go over there, and their games drop. They're not as good because they don't play very often. They don't have to put as much time into their games because they already got the bank money in their pockets.
The one
They
flip
don't-
side I will say to that though is last year in the majors, Liv showed up.
Yeah, no.
There was
I don't.
one I kind of recall.
No,
They were
if we were, they were top 10 in a few things, and Bryson won last year.
To say that those guys don't care just because they got the money is
Well,
true probably for some.
DJ's
of them.
one.
Yep, for sure.
That looks like it doesn't matter to him anymore.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
I mean,
Well, Cam Smith is a
you got a guy like Richard Bland who's still out there grinding. Dickie B. Phil's out there grinding, and I don't
Phil
love
should
Phil,
be on the
but
senior tour,
He should be on the senior tour,
Yeah.
but he's
but he's on LIV because
he's
they
the
give him all
captain
the
of High
bank.
Flyers.
Good for him.
I gotta see. I want to see if I can find the like top fives
For the majors
of
last
the majors
year
last year.
And
Schauffele won last year the PGA.
and the Open.
DeChambeau came second. Hovland, Dietrich, Morikawa, Lowry, Rose. So a lot of PGA on that one. 2024 Masters.
you got to do this year's Masters too.
Oh, but like last year, it was pretty solid still. Like the one thing I've seen from Liv is that they've shown up actually in these.
It is top heavy. I will give you that.
2024 Masters, Scheffler won. Oberg, Fleetwood, Homa, Morikawa, DeChambeau, Smith, Schauffele. So there was two Liv, Smith being one of them. 2024 Open Championship. Wikipedia does things weird with these. I don't know if you've ever looked at them. They do it by rounds, and you got to go to the very end. Schauffele, Horschel, Rose, Lawrence, Henley, Lowry, Scheffler, Brown, Burns. Wasn't actually as good of a year for Liv then. And then which one am I missing?
No,
US
but
Open.
there's the argument against that is that
US
there's
Open,
there's fewer.
DeChambeau won.
DeChambeau, Rory, Cantlay, Finau, Pavon, Matsuyama, Scheffler. So it was actually a very bad year for Liv. 2 years ago, then it was very good for Liv.
There are fewer. There's a smaller percentage of players that come from that tour.
Right, but the
In those
best. Okay, but in
events.
the end, if there are top 10 players and the best in the world, those
should
guys should
show
be in
up.
the top
I
10.
agree.
The bottom doesn't matter because you're getting
I agree.
the everybody else of the PGA that's showing up.
Sure.
But the top and the top should show up, and the cream should rise to the crop. And over the course of actually, to your, I guess you're right on this one. Over the course of last year, PGA showed up. Liv did not. Outside, you take Bryson out of that. Not a lot of Liv showed up.
Yeah, it's a lot of
There was no
nothing.
Rom. I didn't mention Rom once from last
No,
year.
he had a horrible year.
And
last
2025, I don't even
year.
have
He had
to
a horrible
look.
year
He
at the
did not.
majors.
So Liv, he has
was
dropped.
the Liv golfer of the year.
That's fine. I don't know if I would put him as a
Doesn't
top
matter.
10 golfer in the world right now.
Yeah, he's not.
Well, that's fine.
Just based on play.
The only time the LIV guys are the only time their rounds even really count is when they're playing in the majors because that's the only time they're playing best on best.
No, that's not true.
So well, it is. 'Cause
No, they count on the Liv.
yeah, but that doesn't count
Tour.
because nobody cares. It's irrelevant. And
It's still championship.
when they get
if they go
over-
win it, it's still a
yeah,
championship.
when they get over here and play against all the depth and all the great players that are on the PGA Tour, and they don't, and John Rahm's not competitive anymore to win, that's because he's not a top 10 player in the world anymore. He's not. Like like next week, if those guys that are at the top there that used to be up and comers don't show up at the top of the leaderboard, they're not top 10 players in the world anymore. It's time and time again. They're not there. So they're
Patrick Reed
they're
did
not
show up
very
at the
good
Masters
anymore.
again, though, this year.
What's that?
Patrick Reed did show up at the Masters again this year, though.
Well,
He always shows up at the Masters.
That course suits his game well
He
for
plays
some
it well.
reason. Yeah.
Did you hear about the Kentucky Derby winner that
He's not playing. He's not running Preakness.
No, he got fined $62,000 and suspended.
The horse.
The horse?
did?
No, the jockey
Really?
for over whipping.
No.
Oh,
That was the last thing that I made a note of. That I wanted to
was it
bring up
Sovereignty
today.
one?
Yeah,
He's not racing
Sovereignty beat
Preakness,
journalism.
which
No,
makes
he's not.
Which kind of sucks. The point, like, usually it's like, okay, well, whoever wins the Kentucky Derby, everyone's excited for Preakness. Are we going to see a triple crown?
crown.
And now it's like, oh, there's no triple crown. Cool.
Yeah, no, he
so now
he
you don't care,
overwhipped, which I didn't realize was a thing.
Yeah, that as far as me, I'm not a horse race guy at all. But
No,
that doesn't make a
he's-
lot of sense.
He said he didn't realize it while he was doing it, and he went back and watched on the replay, and he's like, "Yeah, I see the point where I overwhipped." He's like, "I had to count it while I was watching the video to see how many times, because in the moment I was trying to catch up and take over, and I just knew I had to do it." And it doesn't sound like he's very remorseful because it did work out and he won.
And
So-
if they're not stripping him of the title of the Kentucky
Yeah.
Derby,
No.
I'll pay that $62,000. I'm sure the trainer and the owner of that
I mean,
will.
it's 20% of of his winnings, but he's still.
I'm assuming the owner could absolutely
yes.
drop an
Yeah.
envelope
Yes.
next to him by accident.
So now that's you just cheat if you have to.
In the U.S., the
Overwhip.
limit is typically 6 strikes per race, with no more than 2 in succession before giving the horse time to respond.
Oh, there
I
you go.
had no idea.
Only 6 in a
didn't-
race?
Yeah.
Wow.
Seems like they're always.
I feel like at
whipping
the
them.
end, the very least,
They're always.
down the
That's what I
stretch, it
thought,
feels like
too.
there's a lot, but I guess they
Yeah.
save it and there's only 6 down the stretch.
So yeah.
I'll have
In
to-
Australia, it's only 5.
And I thought I read that it's like the second time this jockey has been
done it?
suspended or fined for that.
EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada storage experts, more than 2 decades helping Canadians through life's transitions. Canadian storage provider by CanadianSentinel.ca. Classen, Murray, Matt with you here on the EST Hangout. VIP Golf Show was yesterday. Go on our YouTube channel or EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Click on shows. VIP Golf Show's right there. Click it to watch yesterday's show. It will be on the station tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Following the Reed Wilkins Show as well. If you're listening on the audio streams. And then another episode, though, coming out next Sunday, 8 o'clock live. It gets going right here on EST. Classen, I'm assuming you're on work today. You're not off. You're not on holidays.
I'll be there.
I never know.
I'll be there.
Okay. CTV,
I would imagine
5 o'clock
we'll
and 6 o'clock.
I
do you
would
watch
imagine
the
we'll be at
game?
the Moss Pit.
How do you watch the game?
Well,
Because I'm not talking the Oilers game. I'm talking.
I know. I will have
the
it
Celtics
on,
game.
I will have it on my phone while I'm in the midst of doing the 5 and 6. Usually, when we're at the station, I just have it on a computer monitor in the background.
I'll get you on. I'll put you on the spot here right away here. Over or under for Play Alberta.
Oh, okay. Again, I don't gamble. I don't know anything about sports.
That's fine. PlayAlberta.com. There's EST specials. Dusty's put up his specials for
Yeah,
the day and
I've
stuff.
heard. Congratulations to you guys,
Thank you.
by the way.
Appreciate that. No, over under. There's gonna be-
Congratulations
I don't
to
know.
Play Alberta for partnering up with a legendary organization.
Well, we said that it's the 3 most important entities of Edmonton
100%.
sports: Oilers, Elks, EST.
100%.
They had a lot. They got those other 2. They saved the best for last. The hardest one for last.
Lock it up.
We got Oilers. We got Elks. You got to jump on board. I'm like, I guess.
Yeah.
No, rain. 50% chance of rain. Over under during the Oiler game today.
Oh, over.
Oh yeah, it's that. You're that. There's going to be rain today, basically during the Oiler game.
Yeah, it's just like how heavy and steady is it in the city? Is it like scattered showers or is it rain? But it will rain somewhere between like 4 p.m. and 10.
So if you're going to the
11
Moss
p.m. is gonna
Pit,
be most of it.
if you're going to the
Moss Pit,
outdoor fan park, which
it
is the North
will
one,
likely be wet
bring
and
something
bring a poncho
if you need to.
Yeah. Because it's not going to be as warm and dry as it's been for all the other ones. I don't think we've had. Have we had rain yet?
Been a
Yesterday.
really
For any
good
of the Oilers
last-
games?
Oh, not
I don't think any.
No
of
rain.
the
No rain.
Oilers
The
games had
first
rain.
game in LA, it was cool out.
Chilly,
It was
yes.
chilly out, so there wasn't a lot there. But rain, no.
Yeah. Yes.
We had wind.
I'm in the process of trying to figure out what I'm going to wear down there. Maybe
Oh, you will be
maybe they'll
down
put
there.
me-
You're gonna change?
Probably. Maybe they'll put me in the. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll wear this into the stadium.
get a
and
Knicks-
at some point, I'll have
Do you have
to
a Knicks
change.
lapel pin
change.
that you could throw on?
It is orange and blue, so it could sneak by very easily. people would not even notice.
There's one person that would know.
Not even notice.
Heather doesn't let those things go by though, so I don't know if they would get
Why are you
past her.
rocking that New York Knicks?
That would
As if
that doesn't
she'd
get
have to
by.
ask why. Yeah.
So okay, so if you're going down,
yeah.
there it is. So that was the over under
It
for
will be
today.
a little
I just
wet.
wanted to
Little
see
cool.
if it's going to
Wind
get
does
wet.
not. It doesn't look like it's going to be overly windy, but it'll be cloudy.
I'm glad.
A little wet.
It's
So.
calmed down. It seems.
Did
It's
you
been very
know?
nice.
So April seemed super windy, right? I mean, it's always windy in spring, but it
was
seemed super
windy, yeah.
No, it was actually the fourth calmest April on record.
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
It was only the fourth time.
How does that get defined? Is it based
So
on amount of wind per day?
Mean wind, yeah. So the average of. So if you could probably look at a different stat where it was like how many days had gusts over 30. But if you just
Wow.
look at what the average wind
Okay.
speed was for each day, and then
I'm stunned.
Because I
the
could
mean
say
together for that, it
the
was-
amount of days that there was no wind. Okay, probably there's a fair amount then. But when we got wind, it wasn't just a decent wind.
Yeah,
we
I
got
mean,
wind.
Spring is windy season.
We
right?
got
It's
wind.
always windy in the spring.
What about moisture in April of precipitation? Was that had to have been low too? I
It
would
was.
think.
Yeah. I think it was less than half of what of average for us.
So low precipitation, low wind. That's pretty good April we had then. And May's been fabulous so far.
We just needed more rain.
May's been incredible. We do need more rain.
We need more. Like yesterday
I
was
could
very nice. It was a little too hard though at one point.
It's
It was coming down a little too hard. And you're like,
It is
"Ah."
pouring south and west of here this morning. It's
Good.
thunderstorms down by Brooks. They'll get
That's
like
the
50
thing.
to 70 millimeters in through the foothills. Rocky Mountain House up
It's
towards
Edmonton that doesn't need it
Drake
really.
Valley.
Like we do.
Could
But
use
I
some up
want
up
the
in
rest. I want the
Redwater,
rural
northern
areas to
Alberta,
really, and,
yes.
it's rural Saskatchewan, rural
Yes.
BC, and all that. I want them to get a lot of the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need that because like that fire that was by Henday.
Redwater.
Oh, the one that
by
was
our
just
station.
Just how quickly.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign of things if that's where we're at right now, right?
Exactly.
You
Well,
need
and
a little
there's
bit of
another
that.
fire just north of here in Sturgeon County, right? That's,
Yep.
That's still out of control, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, going to Fan Park or Moss Pit, bring a poncho. Even if you're just walking to the game today, you want to make sure walking in
dry.
or out, you want to stay dry with your jersey as you're going in. Prepare for that. Also, if you are going to the game tonight, pick up a Finnish long drink down at Rogers Place. The official drink of the EST Hangout is the Finnish long drink, legend in 1952. A drink unlike any other sparkling refreshment, real liquor, longdrink.com/Canada. Enter a postal code, find a liquor store and established in nearest you, but they do have that deal with OEG where you can pick it up at Rogers Place. So Alberta jumps on board with us. They're with the Oilers. Long drinks with us.
Finnish
they're on board
long
with the
drink.
Oilers. Like it's just what people. It's how things are done. That's
And the 6 o'clocker lager was on sale this past weekend.
How many did you buy?
I just bought a 6.
Just bought a 6-pack.
that's all you needed.
That is all I needed. It was more than enough.
How many rounds so far this year?
Only like 5.
Really?
Yeah,
I played 3.
busy.
All Sundays?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all your standard Sunday one.
Standard match. I haven't played another game outside of my Sunday games yet. Got to get on that though. I mean, man, I like playing golf, but life's busy. Hard to get out
Yeah,
as much as he does.
especially when you have a 7-year-old at home.
Yes.
Like mine are 21, 18, and 17,
Oh,
right? So
I don't want to wish time away, but those moments where all you're like, I didn't realize that being a dad was just being a professional chauffeur. Mm-hmm. You just drive to football practice, drive to baseball practice, drive to football game, drive to swimming. Like it's just like what the heck? Like
He had 3.
I know you're crazy. Anyone I'm like when I realized that how much work having a kid was, and I see people that have 2 or 3 or 4, it's like, what is wrong with you?
it gets easier with
When they get
when you
older.
have more.
Oh, when you get more.
I feel like because then they
get
play
into
with
rhythm?
each other.
Oh.
And yeah.
But activities.
Three was good.
Activities.
But
were
activities is tough, especially if they're not, doing the same activities.
Right.
You're driving around. But now it's. I mean, sure, I don't have to drive them, but I have to buy them all a car so they can drive themselves.
That's fair.
So it's always trade offs.
I'm told there's two big milestones. One, when they're old enough to stay home by themselves, so you don't have to haul them around with you everywhere you go.
Yes.
And the other is when they have the ability to drive themselves to places. Those are two huge milestones that are still a little ways away from me.
Yeah, you got some time.
I got some time.
Well, you're sneaking up on. You got a couple of years till they can stay by themselves.
Well, 12 is the age I'm told, but I'm sure it's not just your 12th birthday.
There's some crazy.
Yeah, because it's not like
depends on the kid.
Yeah, it's not like on the 12th birthday all of a sudden you're mature and responsible enough to do it. But yesterday you weren't. Doesn't make sense. I know.
Yeah.
So you got to.
Some are mature enough.
That's how sometimes how life goes.
Yeah.
One day you're not mature enough to drink alcohol, and the next day you're allowed to. You're mature enough to drink alcohol
or whatever.
Right? Yeah. It's
because that
kind of how things work to a degree.
Fair enough.
This is the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage. As I've said, Lock Shop coming up at 11. We've got the Oil Stream EST Afternoons, Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne, then the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Tommy, Hernan, Cass get going at 6. Tommy will be live at the Ice House downtown, and they'll also have the post-game show for you. We've got about 9 minutes left here on the show. Overall confidence for today's game.
Which
one for the Oilers? Yeah. What was that? Okay, actually, quickly, Knicks Celtics. I'm just going to assume I know you're confident in the Knicks winning.
Yes.
And I know you're confident in the Celtics winning.
Yeah, my Celtics are going to win.
Yeah, okay. So I didn't even need to go there. Oilers, Golden Knights, confidence that the Oilers take the 3-1 seriously.
I'd say there's 85 to 90% chance that the Oilers win.
More likely than rain tonight.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it's going to rain and they're going to win.
Okay.
And I don't say that as, again.
If one doesn't happen, which one is it? Rain or the Oilers losing or winning?
Oh, well, I mean, it's definitely gonna rain.
Why are you that confident? I mean, that's big numbers.
Yeah, no,
I understand that though. Like
they're the better team.
If that goes to overtime on Saturday, who's winning?
The Oilers.
Well, okay, so 3 games have been played. 2 of the 3 games, Vegas has been the better team on the ice. I agree. If both teams play their best, I agree the Oilers are a better team. But are they going to play their best?
But this is where I have the confidence in the Oilers then on this.
They will
is
come
that they
out.
haven't played well in 2 of those games.
And they still found
And they won one win
it.
and they almost won the other one. And it's not like they need to play at their absolute best
they don't.
to beat this Golden Knights team. That's what I think we've seen.
Are-
They need to be just a little bit better. And they're beating this Golden
playing
Knights
their
team.
absolute best?
I think we saw close to their best, maybe. And maybe I'm just not watching enough Golden Knights game on game 3. They did a great job in many aspects. And there were times you're like, oh, they're taking over this game. But they couldn't extend their lead against the Oilers.
Yeah.
And as long as the Oilers are with 1 goal, even I'll say 2 to a degree, but 1 goal going into the final 5 minutes of the game, we're going overtime or they're tying it. Like that, the horn tonight, if the Oilers are down by 1 goal and we get it past 5 minutes left in the 3rd period, the Oiler horn is going off at some point because they're scoring. That net gets pulled, they're scoring.
Well,
I do
They
believe
just
that.
need to give up the first goal.
Yeah, the Oilers seem to play their best when their backs are up against the wall. And their backs aren't up against the wall tonight. So to be honest with you, I don't necessarily think they're going to have a great effort
game.
tonight. I don't think they will. If they lose tonight, then they're going to be like, it's things like that make them wake up.
I feel like after what happened at the end of game 3, and we all can agree that Connor has not really taken over.
And
Him and Leon have not had that
series
game
yet.
this series yet where you're like, they're dominating.
So I just feel like tonight's a night where they go, all right, we can put our throat on their neck.
Yeah.
Tonight's the night we come up, we just take over this game.
I do feel like their back's semi against the wall.
Yeah.
Because if they win this, we could sit here and feel the series is over.
Yep.
But if they lose this, are things going to spiral?
You just blew a 2-0
Yeah. Are
lead.
things going to start
On the
spiraling?
road, yeah.
And I wonder if that plays in the Oilers' mind that, like, we look at the big picture of, like, just the numbers, 2-2 series, you're not back, or 2-1 series, your back's not against the wall if it goes 2-2. But I wonder if in their minds it would go backs against the wall if we blow this.
Yeah.
Oh boy, we now have to go take another one in Vegas and then win the home game here in Edmonton at the very least. Like, no, we need this, and our backs are against the wall.
And yeah, I think if they do win, I agree with that. That it's the big boys are going to be the big boys if they win the game tonight. And and Stu's got to hold down the fort a little bit. I mean, there's going to be some goals scored. Stu's going to let in a few goals. Yeah. But
That's what goalies do.
Exactly. And that's what I always keep saying. You realize that there's NHL players playing against them, and they are trying to score.
Yes.
They're trying to.
Yeah.
So you can't stop everything.
Big
It
Uke
doesn't
says
happen
in the nasty chat, this team doesn't need to be back against the wall, though. This team knows how to close guys out. They know the importance of extra rest. They will not want to go 6 or 7. And you're right. They do know they don't absolutely need it, but that's when they are at their best. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's who this team is. We can go back to the playoffs, the Vancouver series last year, the down 3-0. And last round, it was 40 seconds away from a 3-1 series for the LA Kings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's how close to it. That's how much the Oilers got their backs up against the wall from a possible first-round exit. And then it flips.
Yeah,
this team needs that at times just too much. That they do need it.
That happened over and over last year.
Or it's like they want it or something. I don't know.
Over and over and over last year. That's what
best
happened.
start of the season, 16-game win streak, all of that.
And let's go the other side again though. Las Vegas does not want to go down 3-1.
No.
So they are going to come out and give a heck of an effort tonight as well. So
I don't see the Oilers losing 3 straight.
No.
That's why Vegas needs this.
Yeah, well,
I don't see them
100%.
losing 3 straight. Like, even if it's a 2-2 series, like I still find it hard to believe that the Vegas would go get Game 5 in LA or not in Vegas, in Las Vegas. Like, this team is, they're too good in that sense.
Yeah, I think Edmonton's going to win the series, but I kind of have a feeling they're going to lose tonight, then win the next 2. That's kind of where my instincts are taking me right now. But
So they're going to win 3 games in Vegas?
Well,
they won 2 already.
Yeah.
And if they lose tonight, I mean, it's going to, historically over the last 2 years, it's going to perk them up and go, here we go.
Fair.
We got to get going here. Yeah.
flip side to that is, Vegas is going to have take 2 in Edmonton.
Yes.
If they want to win this series, minimum.
That's true.
It's a weird series in that way.
It's going to be close, I think, though. It could be overtime. A team wins with an empty netter. That's kind of what I think. I don't know. It's almost a coin flip tonight, but I got a little lean. I go 55% Vegas.
Really?
Yeah.
Maddie, what's your thoughts?
I just feel good about the Oilers.
For the series or for tonight?
But I think if they lose tonight, I feel like I don't feel good for the series then anymore for them.
Wow. Really?
I feel Vegas has a lot of momentum at that point.
Well, I just said the complete opposite.
I know. Well, and that's a tough.
and then win, bang,
I guess
bang.
I don't know. I've got to watch and see how. I know. I'm just
plays
like I'm contradicting myself here because I'm saying I don't see how Vegas can win 3 straight against the Oilers, but at the same time, if they win tonight, either they have to win 3 straight against the Oilers, they have to win 3 at home or in Edmonton. Mm-hmm. If they want to win that series, I don't know. I need to see a good first 20 from this team because I do have the worry of 0.4 being the turning point of the series. That being a thing that gives the Golden Knights the confidence that they need. That's the thing that gives the Oilers just that little bit of, I don't want to say doubt, but right now, lack of a better term, that little bit of a doubt for this series. And that's where I'm just like, if they come out strong, okay, that's not a big deal. They've moved on. But if Golden Knights come out and they're firing and, they get up 2-0 or something in the first, then I'm going to start, Now, I'm not worried that the Oilers will be able to come back still in that one game.
Isn't there the old
but
saying
is this the thing that
doesn't carry over from game to game, though?
But confidence can.
Yeah.
Sure.
Then that's the...
I worry about an early goal for Vegas making the... If Vegas can score early, I think that might get Oilers like that confidence.
See, I disagree.
Dropping. You disagree, hey?
I feel like they need to go down early.
Well, because
they went up. They got the lead last game and they blew it. They didn't win the game.
All right, we actually have to play.
Well, I know. I just because Right, they could, but again, just that confidence level, especially like
Sure.
Stu's playing again tonight, and if
Vegas
he lets in a goal
is not.
early,
They're not bums, right? Like they're a good team.
Before I wrap things up, these are just some notes from Oilers practice, which you'll get more from the Oil Stream with Dusty and Tommy at noon. This from Rashog, not the traditional line rush drill at morning skate. They've changed things up. Not sure how much to read into this. First run through was McDavid with Hyman and Perry, Draisaitl with Nugent Janmark, Henrique with Kane and Brown. Mishmash in the fourth line. Let's see what Knobloch says. Rashog also adds, would appear Stetcher maybe in for Emberson. He was off first. Also, Kapanen was off well before Arvidsson. Could see a change there. So Knobloch will be speaking soon. So Oilstream will have a lot more for you. And I'm sure Dusty will have some stuff in the locker
So
shop
he's
as well.
suggesting that Arvidsson's a healthy scratch.
Arvidsson and Emberson out, Stetcher and Kapanen possibly in.
Oh,
Is what we're maybe looking at. So stay tuned here at Edmonton Sports Talk as we'll have you covered up until
did I
game
not
time.
hear someone on this station earlier today though say don't trust any of the line combinations or anything that comes out because it's just going to be completely different at the game?
Line combos, yes. Roster moves,
Okay.
no.
All right. All right.
I will always hate the Celtics, so I don't wish the Celtics luck tonight.
Hey, listen.
I do wish the Knicks luck tonight.
When it
But
comes right down to crunch time, you get a bunch of Brunson Captain Clutch dimes. You guys can't handle the wing stop. You want the last shot? Oh, McCourt with the block. Well, I feel sorry for you. About to take another L from the orange and blue. The cardiac Knicks, the comeback kids. Never pretty, always gritty. We don't quit. And even if we don't win the chip, we're coming back bigger and better in 2026. But we're winning tonight for sure. And the series is over.
I'm not clicking for that.
No snaps.
what's
I'm
coming
not
up on the VIP Golf Show next Sunday?
Well,
know?
I'm going back to work and working on it now. But
Beautiful.
we got Mike Belbin going to get you some golf tips with Belbs around YAG is Coal Creek Golf Resort this week, and I have it all down, but I don't remember.
That's
more
all
of that
good.
right now.
CTV 5-6. Classen will be on. He'll give you the deets
And late night.
on the
Oh,
floor.
yes.
Oh, you're on the late night too.
I'm
I guess
always
you
on
are.
late
I
night.
I honestly, I'm in bed by 11:30.
Yeah,
So
that's fair. You gotta be
I
up
haven't
early to
watched
do
that
this.
one. Yeah, well, not that early.
I'm
Josh,
in bed at 7:30 or 8.
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Oh,
Appreciate you coming.
Thanks
in.
for having me.
Murray, good seeing you again
good,
as well. Thank you to everyone for tuning into the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage and your clear choice for Edmonton Sports Talk, which is presented by Play Alberta. Lock Shop coming up in just a few minutes here on Edmonton Sports Talk. As I said, Oil Stream as well. GCLD's Oil Stream pregame show coming up 6 o'clock. Tommy at the Canadian Ice House. On behalf of Classen, Murray, I am Matt. Thanks for tuning in to
Knicks.
the Hangout.
Go Oil.
On your clear choice for Edmonton Sports Talk. Lock Shop in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Let's go. There you go, right in front of the camera.
First time guest, long time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Zola with here. Joining us today